This young man was imprisoned in hell for 100,000 years. His power soon rivaled that of a god. Although he had everything in the world, he still had only one dream: to return to Earth. Even if the price was losing all his power, he never hesitated. It turns out his real name is Kangu. One day he accidentally fell into hell. All he had was a strong will to survive. And so the young man struggled from the 1,000th layer of hell to the 9,000th. Over the years, Kangu devoured hundreds of thousands of demons, and even 7 fortresses surrendered to him. But now, despite having everything including immortality, Kangu still decided to return to Earth. Why give up everything? Because the food in this hell tastes like crap. The girls here are ugly as hell. At this moment, ignoring all the pleas from the crowd, he resolutely moved forward to claim the reward that belonged to him. Kangu's eyes flashed as he ordered Balak to prepare that thing. Balak hesitated and asked again, "Prepare that thing, king of gods." Kangu closed his eyes and spoke coldly. "Balak, you'd better glare at him behind my back." The silhouette of a monster appeared. "Do you want me to repeat myself?" Balak was terrified and bowed repeatedly. "I'm sorry, my lord. I will prepare it immediately." He then ordered the other demons. "All of you quickly summon Ammon to prepare the equipment for the 7 great wonders." They all shouted in unison, "Understood." Somewhere else, a monster with a terrifying appearance was quietly chanting a spell. Surrounded by thieving statues, something glowing appeared in the hand of a statue that looked like an octopus tentacle. Balak bowed and saluted the Demon King. "The preparation is complete," Kangu grunted in response. Lilith tearfully looked on with lingering affection. Not only her, even Balak's eyes were filled with tears. Demon King Kangu took off his cool armor, revealing a super hot, muscular body. He quickly stepped onto the highest stair. Ammon was already waiting there and gently spoke. "Demon King, if a large amount of magical power is channeled into the equipment of the 7 great wonders, then bending the boundaries of time and space can forcibly open a temporal rift. This old monster is the dark wizard Ammon." Kangu nodded with satisfaction. "Good. Let's begin." He happily thought, "Finally, I'm going home." His entire body was surrounded by a deep purple water aura, extremely mysterious. This phenomenon is called the 100,000 magic cores. The water ball cracking means it's being released. Powerful waves of water soared into the sky. Kangu's whole body was covered by that purple light. Even Ammon, standing from afar, couldn't withstand the overwhelming, oppressive aura defying heaven. He had to brace himself to withstand it, sighing, it really is the 100,000 magic cores." The magical power was indeed overwhelming. Just looking at it was mesmerizing. The 4 statues around stood firm without a tremor amid the massive energy pouring down. Suddenly, the eyes of the giant statues flashed brightly. The surroundings were blinded and trapped by the light. Ammon exclaimed loudly, "My Demon King, all 7 pieces of the equipment are reacting. The door will open soon." But in his mind, he was distracted by vague worries about something else. "What if I return to my family, my friends, my lover, and they're not there?" Kangu reassured himself. "But at least that place isn't like this damn place, so that's something." A crack appeared in the space. Kangu covered himself with a cloth cloak and waved, "I'm off." Lilith called out sadly, "My Demon King." Balak, afraid she would get upset, ran after him to try to stop him. Lilith suddenly gasped in astonishment, eyes wide open. Behind her tear-streaked face, Lilith said, "Lord, do you really, truly, really abandon me like this?" He bowed his head calmly and turned away, comforting her. "Don't cry." But inside, he wasn't calm at all. It was terrifying. She continued to chatter about the words he had said to her, how gentle they were. Little Lilith felt like her heart was about to explode. The love of the king on the hem of her dress suddenly formed a white round shadow, then suddenly burst, scattering water everywhere. Her whiny voice still echoed. Kangu's disgusted face appeared clearly. A little Lilith wants to go with the king. He fearfully jumped right into the damn water crack. Lilith from behind still tried to call the god's demon king. No matter what happens, Lilith will follow him. The water crack closed. Kangu's lips curled slightly. He laughed heartily, with a bright smile, silently flipping the middle finger in his mind. "I won't bother seeing you again. I have been in hell for over 10,000 years. I don't want to change the past, nor do I want to come to any specific future. I just want to see the earth that I once knew." Kangu set foot somewhere. "Now I'm really going back to Earth." Finally, his happy expression suddenly stiffened when he saw strange electric sparks appear. "What's going on?" A system panel appeared, detecting the core of the crack. "The protective spike system of the crack has been activated." Red electric rays appeared all around. Kangu was still confused, unclear about what was happening. What kind of situation is this? A series of alerts appeared mid-air, warning that the core's energy exceeded the limit when activating the multidimensional defense mechanism. He muttered in confusion, "What the hell is this? The spike system is overloaded." Waves of electric sparks appeared. They struck Kangu, causing him pain as he screamed. The system continued issuing strange alerts. Failure, failure, unable to completely eliminate the crack's core. His face turned blue with veins bulging from the pain. The ceiling limit has begun. Kangu struggled to reach out, but after a while he couldn't hold on and fainted. "Don't try so hard, you damn bastard." He grimaced and opened his eyes to see the surroundings had changed. The sunlight flooded the green forest. "Is this Earth?" Kangu wondered. "First I have to check my body condition." Suddenly a new notification appeared, initializing the status window. He sat up confused, rubbing his aching head. "O Kangu, level 1 awakening early stage. Attribute of pseudo-awakening early stage, level 1 hunting power. At level 1, most of the attribute's power is sealed. Attribute of pseudo-awakening stage 2 will be revealed at level 10. Innate profession, strength, constitution, intelligence, light dexterity, innate, mana, 12 cunning." He was confused. "What's this? Is my power sealed?" Suddenly a loud scream echoed. Kangu, startled, turned around and saw the extraordinarily ugly goblins, those damn things attacking him. And in his mind he was confused, thinking the Earth he knew had no such creatures. Kangu didn't hesitate to use his strength to attack them, wiping them out first, but before he could strike, his mana was gone. He was annoyed. Mana in 100,000 mana nodes is weak as hell. The goblins jumped to grab Kangu while laughing with delight, so he had to use another way. Then Kangu clenched his fists, thinking he had to use this. He launched a divine skill at lightning speed. Wherever he dashed, the goblins split in half. Then Kangu added a move, the Demon Slayer sword power, his eyes filled with determination and a bit of anger. A purple goblin charged, but right after the system announced, "You have successfully defeated the E-rank goblin monster." Kangu's movements were lightning fast. Notification appeared that experience increased. At this moment, Kangu was very brave. After the battle, he had swept all the goblins. Another notification came up, reached level 4. After the fight, he was puzzled and curious, what the hell are these things? He looked back with disgust, and these experience points seemed meaningless, but indeed he had gotten stronger. The goblins lay scattered on the ground. Kangu just looked and said nothing more. He raised his hand while still thinking he needed to learn more about this place. Kangu absorbed all the mana inside the goblins. This is called the hunting power of Demon King, Kangu. He was still wondering. He tried to verify the physiological traits of these creatures, but couldn't find any information about this world. There was a notification from the system that increased 1 magic point. Reading this notification, Kangu was extremely shocked, thinking, what magic power? He angrily cursed, "Damn it, that power that only exists in hell is also here. Then maybe this place is not Earth." Kangu's mind was filled with horror. "No, it can't be. The reason I've been holding on all these years in that hell is to find a chance to return to that Earth." Suddenly a piercing scream rang out. Kangu suddenly calmed down. Suspicious, is that a scream? He turned toward the sound. It wasn't a monster's scream. The scream rang out again. Kangu quickly turned back. It was a human after all. He immediately used his skill and ran toward the sound with the power of Valafort at super speed. Kangu was both happy and silently praying in his heart, 10,000 years, for 10,000 years. I've only seen monsters with dozens of tentacles or thousands of disgusting hands. So no matter how this person looks, no matter how scary, as long as they have 2 eyes, a nose, and a mouth, as long as they're human, that's enough. Please, no tentacles at all. Remembering Lilith's image made him even more terrified. Don't be tentacles, please, don't. He arrived at a place where a girl was surrounded by goblins. Kangu was happy, but also silently worried. Found her, please, he silently begged. Please be human. Looking at the girl who was so scared she was crying, he silently counted every part of her body, 2 eyes, nose, and finally a complete body. Kangu whimpered, no, tentacles. He was so happy he cried, rushing to the girl's side. A goblin was about to attack her. She was scared, leaning against a tree, tears falling like rain, waiting for the end, but nothing happened to her. The girl didn't understand what was going on, slowly opening her eyes to see the goblins all wiped out by Kangu. He ran closer to her. Kangu reached out his hand. The beautiful girl with big round eyes looked at him, then slowly raised her hand to thank him, gently placing her hand on Kangu's. He was like a lost soul, dazed but inside screaming with joy. Kangu trembled, making the girl blush. She was so shy she couldn't speak. She happily introduced herself. "Thank you for saving me. My name is Han So." Kang Yu kept trembling, making her a little worried. Are you okay? Suddenly he grabbed her hand, startling her. Then he eagerly waited for her to accept his proposal. Kang Yu's eyes were full of anticipation as he proposed, let's get married. She was surprised, not understanding what was happening. She stammered, asking what he just said. At this point, Kang Yu realized he was too excited, so he let go of her hand and introduced himself. I'm sorry, my name is Okangu. She said her name was Han So, right? Kang Yu anxiously asked, are your wounds okay? Seo replied gently, yes, the wound isn't big, but my leg is actually bleeding a lot. Kang Yu panicked and shouted, are you okay? She stumbled and fell into Kang Yu, surprising him. Are you all right? A phone fell from her body. Seeing it, Kang Yu curiously thought that square thing was a phone. He was delighted. So I'm really on Earth now. Then Kang Yu helped her sit down and instructed, don't overexert yourself. Sit and rest a bit. I'll treat your wounds. She gratefully replied, thank you so much. Kang Yu cheerfully said no problem. He thought that now he and she could finally communicate. While bandaging her, Kang Yu recalled how he had forbidden demonic language in hell and made them use Korean so that when he returned, he wouldn't forget it. The way the demons pronounced words with a lisp was very funny. Today, the hell's sky is cracked. Kang Yu was annoyed and scolded, pronounce it properly. Now that he met her, he was even happier. Finally, I can use Korean with the human, not just demons. After treating the wound, Kang Yu told her, if you keep this position, you'll feel much better. She was extremely grateful. Kang Yu said, thank you for taking care of me. Then happily handed her the phone. Don't worry, here's your phone. When giving the phone, Kang Yu took the chance to check the time, 2023. She took it. Thank you. Kang Yu pondered, 5 years have passed since I fell into hell. His mind was full of questions. I'm sure I adjusted the time correctly. Those monsters. This started appearing on Earth that year. Why did SAO Kang Yu tell the CEO to rest a bit because movement was difficult at this time? Please go listen to me. Reply yes. Meanwhile, Kang Yu was still thoughtful. I don't know enough. I don't have enough information. Kang Yu curiously asked, is there more? Why are you here? She shyly recounted, I encountered some difficult situations. I was hunting alone in a gate. I just awakened as a player yesterday, and I was hunting alone in an E-rank gate. I was really foolish. Kang Yu had many questions in his head. The player hunting team leader curiously asked, so what's your rank? She replied, I'm rank 6 since I just awakened. But what does a player like you, Kang Yu, doing here? Hearing that, Kang Yu thought silently my rank might even be lower. He just forced a smile. I also encountered some situations. Kang Yu looked at her gently, thinking, well, it's normal for her to think that. Suddenly, Ms. A seemed to remember something. She said, I understand now. Suddenly, her face flushed red. She immediately stood and asked Kang Yu, so shall we go? But he's still worried. Your wound seems serious. Will you be okay? She lied. Yes, I'm fine, thanks to you. Suddenly, she shouted as if startled. It was Kang Yu who grabbed Ms. A's hand, making her shy. I'll support you. Ms. A blushed and hurriedly declined. No, I shouldn't trouble you anymore. Yes, Kang Yu was determined to help her. Refusing now isn't good. I will take you. Which way do we need to go? Ms. A had no choice but to listen. Then head that way. Just help me get to the exit gate. Kang Yu cheerfully replied, yes, I got it. He thought this was his first conversation with a human in 10,000 years. The two helped each other out of there. Kang Yu was really happy, except for his overreaction. At first, he hadn't made any mistakes. And it seemed she didn't suspect his identity either. All right, at this rate, I'll just blend into Earth society. Arriving, Mrs. A pointed to Kang Yu. We're at the exit gate now. Kang Yu saw a large ancient tree with a magic circle appearing. Kang Yu was surprised this is Enso Gate. He analyzed that moving through these spatial gaps probably means this isn't entirely Earth. Kang Yu looked around to assess the situation. I don't see any device creating these gaps, so how does such a large gate sustain itself? Mrs. A arrived and pushed his hand away, then said, Kang Yu, I think I'm much better now. Kang Yu was flustered, yes. Then she urged, let's get out of here. The two stepped into the gate. A force made Kang Yu cover his face. Maybe he still wasn't used to this place. Emerging from the gate, Kang Yu slowly opened his eyes. He looked amazed at what he saw. A man was calling out, we're recruiting members for the goblin hunting team at the E-rank gate. But what caught Kang Yu's attention was that he had two eyes. Elsewhere, two people were talking. Oh, I didn't see any fuel trucks today either. Kang Yu counted again like when he met Ms. A. One nose. Kang Yu continued observing one mouth. Over here, someone wanted to register for the goblin hunting team. Do you accept prisoners? And Kang Yu only noticed one thing, no tentacles. The soldier here quickly refused the other. I'm sorry, but prisoners have some issues. Kang Yu looked at everything, only humans. His whole body trembled with emotion, making Ms. A curious. I really, Kang Yu was so happy he cried. He thought to himself, I'm back. Ms. A saw Kang Yu's cloak was torn in many places. Looking down at the bandage, he tore off to first aid her. Ms. A quietly said, Kang Yu. He turned and replied, yes. Mrs. A shyly said if he felt okay, she bashfully brushed her hair and invited him. Do you want to eat at my place? Hearing that, Kang Yu blushed completely. Ms. A shyly continued, I'm very grateful and sorry, so I want to at least repay you with a meal, silly. Kang Yu felt his head spinning after hearing that spring is indeed spring. He smiled and looked arrogantly. See, I said, refusing is not right, so I guess it's not allowed. Suddenly, someone called them, you two over there, wait. Two soldiers stepped forward and requested, hello, we need to verify your player cards. Kang Yu was confused, thinking, my card? Ms. A cheerfully took out the card. Please wait a moment. One soldier, seeing Kang Yu hesitate, urged him to take out his player card. Kang Yu cursed silently. Damn it. He pretended to be taking out the card. Yes, I understand. But Kang Yu was secretly thinking, no choice, I have to use it. His eyes turned a sharp blue. Yu held out his empty hand and said, here it is. He used his ability to bend the target's perception, the ability to manipulate the target's eyes at will, the power of Dantalion's vision. Kang Yu raised his middle finger, but the soldier's eyes were covered. The soldier replied, yes, I have completed verification. Kang Yu silently breathed a sigh of relief. It worked. He turned and smiled at CEO A. The CEO is like that. Let's go then. Behind the two soldiers, still unaware they had been fooled, argued, hey, wake up. The shift's almost over. Ms. A replied to Kang Yu, yes, heading to a building. Ms. A introduced, this is my home. She was a bit embarrassed. The apartment has no elevator, so we have to climb some stairs. Kang Yu didn't mind that. His face flushed red as he said, oh, it's fine. Inside, Kang Yu felt comfortable with the smell of the old apartment. He felt every narrow stair. These things down in hell don't even have railings. Every little detail made Kang Yu feel relaxed. The dusty windows, everything felt real. And what he liked most, especially because among countless places on Earth, this is CEO Tha's home. I'm sure from now on a happy future will open up. His mother thought silently to herself, I'm sure from now on I will have a bright future. But as soon as Ms. A arrived home, she called her mother. The voice echoed from inside, you're home already. Mrs. A and Kang Yu were confused about her mother. Miss A's mother asked with concern, oh, my dear daughter, are you hurt anywhere? Did you go there with a large group, like I told you? Ms. A smiled but had to lie, of course, yes. Kang Yu suddenly snapped out of it. Her mother is here. Could it be she really just wanted a simple meal? After the two mother and daughter reunited, Miss A introduced, oh, I forgot. Gentlemen, this is Okangu because today he saved me from danger. I invited him to have a meal. Kang Yu politely bowed and greeted Ms. Koa's mother. Ah, surprise. Oh my God, she grabbed Kang Yu's hand, thanking him. Ms. Koa's mother tearfully, thanking you for saving my Koa. I really don't know how to repay you. John Yu was a bit embarrassed and replied, it's nothing. Then she invited him inside, please come in. Although it's not the best, I'll try to make the best food possible. Kang Yu happily replied, thank you. But he felt a little disappointed. Well, not eating with her alone is a pity. Yes, he felt lucky again, but thinking about his life in the underworld, it was already precious. Ms. Koa's mother happily told her daughter, please help me cook. Koa quickly took off her shoes and replied, yes, Mom. She went to change clothes and checked her phone, saying she would change first, then help Mom. Did Mom text you? Her mother replied, yes, Koa. Next time you come to visit, at least after going out, you have to contact me. Koa's father tried to comfort her mother. Sorry, Mom, listen. Kang Yu suddenly remembered he had to phone. He must find a way to gather information about Earth. He spoke up, asking her, Ms. Koa, excuse me, may I borrow your phone? I lost my phone. Koa happily agreed. Sure, of course. She handed him her phone. Use it freely. And wait a bit, food will be ready soon. He took it, thanked her. Kang Yu was very fascinated by the phone, the feeling of placing his finger on the screen. After 10,000 years, everything was amazing. He sat at the table, hung his cloak on the chair, and began the main task. But now is not the time to focus on that. I have to gather information first. Kang Yu typed while thinking, since I was dragged into hell 5 years ago, I should try looking for news snippets from 2018. Let's see. The news started appearing. The disaster happened in 2/22/2018. It changed the whole world. Monsters suddenly appeared from hundreds of gates. Overwhelming firepower, rendered useless. Hundreds of thousands of Chinese soldiers were slaughtered. The Global Emergency Disaster Response Alliance was established. South Korea was the 9th country to join. The first player appeared in the U.S. She was an AI, so the number of players continuously increased worldwide. Could they be humanity's hope? Kang Yu finished reading and suddenly spotted an article about a mysterious gate appearing in Koa, right on the day of the disaster. Reporter Kim On was curious on 2/22/2018. He remembered that day was the day he was dragged to hell. Kang Yu started piecing things together. Could it be that he was pulled into one of those gates that suddenly appeared that day? He turned off his phone, thinking these news are just speculations. He would have to find more information later. Then he heard Koa's mother call out, "The food is ready, Mom." Kang Yu put down his phone and thanked her. The food from Koa's family surprised him. A pot of delicious braised kimchi was placed before him. Koa's mother said, "Enjoy your meal, Kang Yu. I hope it suits your taste." He was still stunned by the braised kimchi. Kang Yu's mother picked up a spoon, also stunned by the braised kimchi. He scooped a spoonful of braised kimchi. Koa's mother said, "Darling, eat up." She replied, "Yes, Mom." Kang Yu took a spoonful, preparing to eat, but kept mumbling, "Kimchi," which caught Koa's attention. Braised kimchi. Kang Yu's hand shook as he brought the spoon to his mouth. He ate under the gaze of Koa and her mother. After swallowing the first bite, he immediately took a second spoonful. He kept chewing without showing any expression. Kang Yu scooped another spoonful of rice and ate like a hungry tiger, surprising the two watching him. Kang Yu recalled 5 years ago, no, 10,000 years ago, after suddenly falling into hell to survive, he had to bite the demon power seal and transform into a dragon-like demon creature. However, because he still had humanity, his taste and sense of flavor in hell could never satisfy the demons. He had to eat to survive, but the taste was terrible, like garbage. He thought he would go crazy, even though he had experienced it countless times during his time in hell. The reason he stayed sane was a single wish to return to Earth. Tears streamed down Kang Yu's face in true happiness. He had truly returned. When Kang Yu exclaimed Earth in his thoughts, CEO, A worriedly asked, "Kang Yu?" He sobbed, stammering, "CEO, I can't express how grateful I am. The food is delicious. Thank you so much." Koa gently said, "I'm the one who should say thank you." She shyly added, "I'm sorry I can only repay you this way." "Yet you like it so much," CEOA asked happily. "Is it really that good?" Kang Yu teared up and replied, "Yes, sorry, can I have another bowl?" CEOA immediately stood up. "Of course I'll bring it right out." Kang Yu gratefully thanked her, and CEOA smiled, too truly happy to see him enjoy it so much. Kang Yu sipped the soup, thinking, "I'm really happy to have returned." Koa brought out the pot of rice with a friendly smile and stirred it once suddenly the wall burst open. Both Koa and her mother were stunned, but Kang Yu happily continued enjoying his meal. A jerk had broken the wall. He even yelled, "What the hell is this? Damn it!" Koa and her mother ran out to see. The guy blamed the door. It was hard as hell, stepping on a tile that cracked. He was a cocky blonde guy shouting, "Hung Koa, come out here right now." Heavy footsteps of Han Tae-hyun sounded. As he entered, he aggressively said, "Hey, AI, who let you enter the gate without permission?" Koa frowned, annoyed, her voice trembling. "Go away, unbelievable." Han Tae-hyun asked, "What?" Koa challenged, "Yeah, I said go away." Han Tae-hyun, "Do you think you're an AI to dare enter our home?" He looked confused hearing her challenge. "Don't come near me. I'm warning you, I'm capable now." Han Tae-hyun laughed until he nearly fell over, mocking, "Really? You think you're an AI?" Koa shielded her mother and warned, "Don't come near me." Han Tae-hyun glared at her mother, who trembled in fear. He cruelly said, "Your dad died early, and your poor mother got insulted right where it hurts." Koa furiously cursed this bastard. "The reason we became like this is because of him," she said, no point arguing. Han Tae-hyun pulled her. "Come on, you have to follow me to the Andra gang right now." Koa immediately resisted, pushing him away. "I will never join that trash gang." He was doubtful. "Trash is rude, but I'll show you what good people are like." She clenched her teeth. Taking advantage of Han Tae-hyun's distraction, she bit his hand hard, causing him to scream in pain. He threw SEO away. "Azaza?" Her mother shouted in panic. "SEO." Han Tae-hyun got furious. "Damn brat." "Hey Han, SEO." He clenched his teeth and snarled, "Do you think just doing useless good deeds is enough to live? The world has been too gentle with you, and threatening you wisely, so just obediently become my servant." "What, all grown up now?" Han Tae-hyun glared at the mother and daughter. He exuded an oppressive aura, his tone ruthless. "Fine. As a player, let's face each other honestly for once." Seeing the tension, her mother hurriedly begged, "Tae-hyun, please, I will try harder. Please don't do this to SEO." He coldly said, "Get out of my way, old woman." She quickly grabbed his arm, pleading, "Please." He showed no mercy and kicked her mother away. He grumbled angrily, "Damn it, what trash!" She panicked and shouted, "Mom, Mom, Koa crawled to her side, shaking and calling out for her mother frantically. Han Tae-hyun, still indifferent, and said, "That's the reason. I told you to get out of the way, but you refused to listen." Hearing the cries, he grew even more resentful. Mom, what a bunch of troublemakers." She glared at him, gritting her teeth. Han Tae-hyun. He mocked, "What do you want to do to me? What's with that glare, you bastard?" He constantly criticized, "You're such a nuisance. I'm already a level 2 awakened." And he mocked Koa, "You think you have any chance?" He despised her. "The only thing you have is that stupid face." He continued, forcing her to join the Andra gang. Then suddenly there was a noise that made Han Tae-hyun fall silent and look around. He saw Kang Yu casually drinking his soup. He immediately cursed, "Damn it." Standing there still stunned, he saw him eating without any reaction. Paying attention to the surroundings, he let go of her and mocked, surprising. "This isn't some famous restaurant." Today, Han Tae-hyun shifted his target towards him. He sneered, "Don't you know how to read the situation?" Koa anxiously called Kang Yu. He kept shouting, "Hey, hey!" Seeing Kang Yu ignoring her and just focused on eating, he laughed and almost to the point of disbelief. After finishing, Han Tae-hyun suddenly turned and kicked the table, sending it flying. "Swearing you dog." He looked dumbfounded at the scattered food. She watched the scene with a terrified look. He clenched his teeth while Kang Yu was still stunned, staring at the spilled food on the ground. Koa worried Mr. Kang Yu, tears welled up. She shouted and knelt down. "The soup is spilled." Painful, Han Tae-hyun doubted, "What's wrong with this dog?" and asked her, "Where did you find this beggar?" Seeing him still crying, he scorned the food. "You kicked him." Told her to stop whining and get up quickly. Kang Yu muttered, "My kimchi stew." He was furious, radiating a murderous aura. Glared at Han Tae-hyun, "You jerk," constantly uttering "you." He was confused inside. What? His tone was dark. "How dare you knock over my kimchi stew?" Han Tae-hyun's mind panicked. "Damn it." Kang Yu collapsed, kneeling on the floor, trembling all over. Muttering sadly, "My braised kimchi meat is across from me." Tae-hyun looked at the scene in front of him, annoyed. He bit his lip tightly. Then Tae-hyun's fist was thrown without hesitation, but suddenly he froze. Despite those two fiery punches blazing up, his whole body stiffened as he looked at the figure kneeling there. Tae-hyun felt a bit uneasy inside. He couldn't be sure if he was just seeing things. He grimaced in discomfort, then raised his fist again. Sneered, "Are you crazy or what?" But suddenly a flash of light shot out from somewhere, stopping the punch just in time. This made Tae-hyun annoyed. He threw a fiery glare toward the place where the attack came from. Growled and cursed, "What the hell is this?" Koa appeared holding a magic staff. She shouted anxiously, "Kang Yu, run!" But it was too late. His hand grew a blade firmly attached to the back of his palm. Koa could only open her eyes wide, tears welling up. She stared in shock at the next scene. Kang Yu moved at the speed of light. He dashed up and escaped from the spot that had just appeared right in front of Tae-hyun. Both brothers stood frozen in place at that speed. Amid Koa and Kang Yu's shocked screams, he charged straight into Tae-hyun with the same speed, making Tae-hyun's face contort in pain. His eyes bloodshot, unable to hold back, he cursed out loud, "You bastard." Inside, he tried to reassure himself he wasn't that slow. Kang Yu kept rushing forward like a madman. He raised his fist along with the sharp blade. Meanwhile, Tae-hyun tried to watch and analyze Kang Yu's moves in his head. On the left. But life never goes according to your plans. Instead of a left hook, Kang Yu gave him a knee strike straight to the chest. Tae-hyun wondered if it was a feint. He was stunned, eyes wide open, spitting out saliva. Tae-hyun clenched his teeth and spat angry words. "You damn bastard." While cursing, he put all his strength into throwing punches wrapped in flames. Kang Yu skillfully dodged by leaning to the side. His hand wasn't weak either, countering with a straight punch to the face. Not only that, Kang Yu added a leg hook from behind, stretching Tae-hyun's spine, causing him to scream in pain while trying to resist, but it was completely ineffective. Tae-hyun's face twisted in pain, blood mixing from his nose and mouth. He groaned painfully, but gritted his teeth and endured. His hand was gripping tightly onto that leg hook. Inside, confused, he can't be that strong. Tae-hyun tried to overpower him, but again failed when Kang Yu used some force to spring his other leg up and deliver a powerful kick as if to shatter his jaw. Then he landed dramatically in a super cool pose. Tae-hyun's head tilted completely to one side. His face was swollen as saliva flying everywhere, yet he still stubbornly stood his ground as Kang Yu rushed closer. He immediately cursed, "You bastard." Then he attacked back just as fiercely. A blue heat wave erupted fiercely from his fist, but Kang Yu smoothly leaned back to dodge. His legs flexed, readying his stance. Tae-hyun's face twisted in pain, mouth agape, breathing hard from Kang Yu's low hook punch. He could only mutter to himself, "Ugh, jealous again." This time Taehyun really collapsed. He dropped to his knees, the two flames completely extinguished. His mood was utterly crushed, wondering again if it was just a feint. Taehyun clutched his chest, asking himself, who the hell is this guy? Before he could get an answer, his face hit the ground. Taehyun lay flat on the floor with Kangyu's solid leg on top of his head. He tried to tremble free from that foot, but couldn't escape. Only a few weak groans escaped his mouth. Kangyu, annoyed, stomped harder. The clawed hand stabbed deeply into Taehyun's arm. He asked in a low voice, so who the hell are you? But he didn't wait for an answer. Kangyu bent down to warn, it's not over yet. Stop making a scene. His eyes were bloodshot veins bulging, showing just how angry Kangyu was. There are still plenty of punishments awaiting for you because you dared to spill my kimchi pot. The arm being gripped tightly started trembling. Taehyun's voice was a bit confused, asking again, kimchi? Just because of a kimchi pot, you go crazy like this? He got furious, grabbing the hair on the top of his head and nearly whispering each word. Just because you pressed your face close to mine. Taehyun's face turned dark. You say, it's just about a kimchi pot. He slightly lifted himself up and shouted, you. He trembled and hurriedly stammered an explanation. No, I mean... But it was too late. Kangyu slammed Taehyun's face down onto the floor. Oh, mama swallowed my show before. And kept repeating the violent action. Crazy, Kangyu shouted loudly, just kimchi stew all because of this kimchi pot. After a while, he calmed down a bit, still biting his teeth and smirking. Kangyu released his head and called out, hey! Then he leaned close to Taehyun's ear and said, when I count 1, you say kimchi is when I count 2, you say a heavenly treasure. Shout it loud enough for me to hear, got it. The small hand wanted to resist, but it was insignificant, so he had to obey. Kangyu started the count 1, and Taehyun lifted his head and shouted, according to kimchi is what I'm not satisfied with. He emphasized the words more and gave a louder command. This time it was really loud, and it was Taehyun's scream from the pain. Kangyu didn't let go and started the count again. Taehyun's tears and nosebleeds smeared, struggling for breath, but still had to loudly shout, kimchi is what I say, continue. Under the strict supervision from that spot, Taehyun pronounced each word loudly to respond, a heavenly treasure, but still doesn't please that demon. Kangyu grimaced and commented, love gone wrong. He kept beating him mercilessly, shouting even louder, shout like someone's pissing you off. Like when you scream when a girl walks by. Koa stood frozen watching this scene without daring to intervene. She silently watched the syrupy melodrama over there. Kangyu ordered, until your face is distorted, shout louder. Shout until your lungs burst. Taehyun cried pitifully, but still obediently followed. Kimchi is a heavenly treasure, but still doesn't please Master Kim. He cursed again, then freaked out and shouted the demand, that's not enough for me yet. Say it again, raising his voice to almost a scream. For me, in despair, he took a deep breath, held the air in his lungs, and used all his strength to open his throat wide, so the sound blasted his eardrums. Kimchi is a heavenly treasure. Now Kangyu finally looked satisfied. In Taehyun's hoarse breath, he withdrew his claws and softly praised, good. He retracted the terrifying aura. Kangyu stood upright, but didn't forget to warn with a dark face, remember this, never underestimate kimchi. His spirit was completely shaken. His whole body lay exhausted, face down on the floor, crying miserably, only daring to curse silently inside, what the hell is this? Did you just escape from jail? It was tragic, really tragic. After the fight, the furniture was quite damaged, but had been neatly pushed into a corner by the sofa. Koa silently bandaged her mother's wounds, sadly staring only to glare at the culprit who caused all this trouble. Meanwhile, Han Taehyun was washing dishes, silently cursing. Why am I Han Taehyun? Sobbing with a bruised face, feeling miserable to have met someone like him, beaten by Yahello, robbed of his stuff, even more annoyed seeing Kangyu leisurely drinking tea. His swollen face thought bitterly, damn that kimchi stew bastard. No matter how angry, he could only grit his teeth and swallow his anger. Damn it all because of that kimchi stew. Han Taehyun glanced at him, thinking, why? Why am I treated like this? Kangyu slammed his teacup on the table, frightening him into a sudden jump. He spoke so, and pierced Han Taehyun's pain with a mix of anger and sorrow from being beaten. All because of kimchi stew. He stammered, no, no. Kangyu coldly stared at Han Taehyun, listing off, wearing clothes, going to bed, eating and living comfortably. You'll never know how many blessings your life has been given. So always be grateful and sincerely advised. Cherish your life. Got it. He shouted, yes, fully understood. But inside he threatened, this bastard's causing trouble again. Just wait and see. Han Tae-hyun silently calculated. After I report you to Andros, you're finished. Suddenly he called out, hey! He replied nervously, yes, yes. Kang Yu said, when you finish washing, come here. He hinted, I've been thinking about that. Han Tae-hyun obediently sat and listened. It seems you have no value to live, you know, that right? Just behave well enough to live well. He was extremely confused when Kang Yu said, the world isn't gentle anywhere. He grabbed Han Tae-hyun's shirt to reassure him. Don't worry, with a creepy smile. I won't kill you, but maybe death would be better. His eyes suddenly changed to a strange color. He was terrified. What is this? Han Tae-hyun was horrified by Kang Yu's hidden skill, the terrifying power of the demon Orobot. He panicked as he was squeezed tightly in that giant hand. No, don't come near here. No, please don't, he screamed in terror. Not only were the claws of the high demon imprisoning him, demon Orobot, Han Tae-hyun trembled and stepped back repeatedly saying no. A fear engraved deeply in his heart that could never be erased. Kang Yu warned not to say anything about what happened, buried deep in the target's soul, turning them into puppets. Seeing his goal achieved, he ordered now disappear. Han Tae-hyun trembled, stamping and stepping away, mumbling, no. Kang Yu sneered at the pitiful bastard. She silently observed him, obedient like a machine. She thought this time would be the same, silently grateful to Kang Yu for saving her again. He quietly glanced at his phone, recalling Han Tae-hyun's aggressive look. He told himself that matter really bothered him. The more he scrolled, the more heartbroken he felt. He really was just a poor kid. I need money. His eyes lit up softly, saying, oh. He found some useful information magic stones with various shapes of magic stones. The monster's magic is contained in a central cell shaped like a stone inside the body. The darker the magic stone's color leans toward black, the higher its level. The shapes of magic stones are illustrated below according to rank. Kang Yu called her CEO. She was startled and quickly replied yes. He inquired if she might have any magic stones. Let me see, CEO. Quickly went to look. Yes, ma'am. Wait a moment, please. She handed him a stone. Here it is. This is a level E magic stone obtained from hunting goblins. Kang Yu clenched the stone to check, thinking the article said the darker the color, the higher the rank. In her curious eyes, he closed his eyes to focus. However, he couldn't sense any magic power at all. But Kang Yu doubted, guessing it must contain power but not magic power, because before he felt a bit of magic power. The magic power increased by 1 level, so he assumed the magic stone contained magic power. He doubted, but the power hidden inside was probably another kind of energy called magic. He suspected so. Where does the magic power come from? Then Kang Yu immediately let it go, whatever. He returned the stone. It looks beautiful, thank you, CEO. She awkwardly took it, yes. Kang Yu thought, now, I have to sell this to get money. He quietly calculated if so. Then Kang Yu asked CEO recently if there was any office managing awakened ones. She thought, then answered no recently, but the nearest office is next to Seoul Station. And Koa suggested she was also planning to go there. He asked if she wanted to go together, curious. She's also going there. Looking at her mother lying there, she sighed yes. Honestly, my family situation isn't good with the magic stone in hand. Koa told me, so I risked entering the gate. I only realized my danger and recklessness when she smiled brightly and told me, Kang Yu appeared, so once again, thank you. Kang Yu smiled awkwardly, no problem. He shyly said he just wanted to help someone like her. Inside, he felt pain after having to fight demons for 10,000 years. Koa resolutely said, that's why I will seriously study all the basic exercises. My goal is to become a stage 2 awakened. Kang Yu happily thought, finally I found an angel. He encouraged her that she would definitely do well. She smiled shyly and thanked him. Seeing that smile, Kang Yu silently thought, but I still don't intend to help her. He spoke, so shall we go now? Ko immediately agreed, yes, I'll go right away. I just finished preparing. Kang Yu thought, if I go with someone weak like her, my hunting efficiency will decrease. He knew it sounded a bit heartless, but that was the truth. He calculated logically he must try to minimize losses. His priority was to regain strength, because this is Earth where he returned after 10,000 years. He needed to become stronger if he wanted to survive like before when he was in hell. While thinking, she suddenly called out, making him startled. Akangu, do you have an ID yet? Kang Yu silently covers up. Can we get to the headquarters first? Finally, he got his ID card. While moving on the train, Kang Yu was still absorbed in looking at the card in his hand, not letting go. Looking at it, he thought to himself that this was a reissued ID card. Kang Yu stood in front of the reception desk stammering as he asked the receptionist, is it done? The receptionist quickly replied, not forgetting customer care. Yes, it's done. Do you need anything else? Kang Yu awkwardly replied, "Ah, no, thank you." Then he thought to himself, he had thought they had put him on the missing persons list. Through situations like this, he sadly realized that no one really knew he was missing. Recalling past memories and the hard times in that hellish place, Kang Yu suddenly felt sad because no one remembered him even after 5 years. Kang Yu briefly saw through his fragmented past memories that it was still the same. Still alone, handling everything. Even though struggling to survive, no one came out from that utter darkness. A sweet, soft voice suddenly pulled him back to reality. "Kanggu Ko," she said, pointing outside at the scenery. She told him to look out the window over there. Her excitement surprised Kanggu. He glanced over. Sola also said, "We're almost there." As soon as she finished speaking, before their eyes appeared the building with unique architecture called the Player Management Office. Koa exclaimed, "Amazing, I really like the scenery here." Realizing he was no longer alone like before, Kang Yu quietly put his certification card into his pocket, as if putting his past aside, silently telling himself, "Yeah, things will be different now." He turned and replied to Koa, "It's amazing." After a while of moving, the two finally arrived at the Player Management Office station. "The left door will open the left wing." The CEO excitedly called Kanggu this way. "Yes, at the main hall of the Seoul Player Management Office." The CEO cheerfully introduced to him, "We've arrived. This is the main headquarters of the Seoul Player Management Office." For the first time, Kanggu witnessed such a magnificent and grand building, unable to help but exclaim, "So huge." He saw the enormous gate and thought to himself, "Isn't this even bigger than Incheon Airport?" Koa next to him suddenly pulled something out of her pocket and gave it to Kang Yu, saying, "Ah, yes, Kanggu, I have something to tell you." Then she unexpectedly took out a phone and handed it to him, saying, "This is my old phone." She didn't forget to remind him that the management office has Wi-Fi, so use this to communicate later. Though not crying outside, Kanggu was already tearing up inside, thinking, "She really is an angel." His eyes brightened. "Thank you so much." Although they came together, the reasons were different, so she took the initiative to speak to him. "Kanggu, now I'll go in and try to register for the beginner's lecture." Seeing that it was time to get to work, so he quickly replied, "Okay, I'm going in too. I'll call you later." As usual, she kindly said, "I think I'll finish late, but let's have dinner together, okay?" Kanggu immediately lit up at the thought of food and quickly replied, "Yes, of course. Take care." He thought to himself, "Great." After they separated, Kanggu was left alone to enter the building inside the player management office. Seeing everything so vast, he couldn't help but think, this place is no joke. Just by glancing at the equipment they carried, he guessed it was because players had become important figures. From afar, suddenly a machine displayed, "Please scan your verified ID card." Kanggu curiously thought, "Is this where I get a waiting ticket?" As soon as Kanggu inserted the card, the machine started the process. "Please scan your verified ID card." Verifying. After waiting a moment, the machine screen showed his image, automatically assigned him number Kanggu. Completing verification. "Your waiting number is 18. Please take your waiting ticket." Just after saying this, Okanggu was still stunned by the advanced technology when the machine instructed, "Please follow the path to the inspection room with your waiting ticket." As soon as the machine finished speaking, his card number started to vibrate. A moment later, an electronic straight line suddenly appeared at Kanggu's feet, guiding him and saying, "Please follow the path to the examination room with your waiting ticket." After arriving at waiting room number 9, as directed by the card, Kanggu found a seat and took out his old phone to browse the web. Behind him, 2 hunters were talking to each other. "Sorry, what's your rank in Phase 1? "Mine's D, not bad. Do you think you can get A, B, or higher in Phase 2? The old man with rank D laughed loudly and replied, "I can't compare to players like Beck Watson or Chae Eun-ju." The other man humbly said, "Those guys are on a whole different level." Regardless of that, Kanggu continued typing diligently on his phone. Listening carefully, Kanggu suddenly heard them say, "We don't compare ourselves to the 5 guild leaders who reached S rank in Phase 1 Awakening. I heard if you get S rank, you might be recruited into one of the 5 major guilds. Honestly, I don't want to stand out too much in Phases 1 and 2. At least being recognized later on is fine." Kanggu was puzzled. The 5 major guilds after reviewing were Kim Jae-hyun of MIA, Cha Yun-woo of Red Velvet Bic, Kang Zeon of Hanun Jung Hyun-ju of Sunyeo, and Chae Min-yo of Onduri, names he took note of. He raised his hand to his face, silently calculating. Each guild was founded by a top 5 player in South Korea. "I'll meet them once I recover my strength. The stronger I get, the more I stand out. There's a good chance I've already met them, making things easier later." He had already set his own goal. "I have to recover my strength faster than ever. But my source of power has been limited. If I earn a player title, maybe I'll be much stronger than before. While thinking, a voice suddenly called out his number, grabbing his attention. Number 18, can you come in? The door opened suddenly. Kangoo didn't hesitate to step inside. After entering, someone kindly guided him to a chair at the main examination counter. Your seat is over there. After moving to the assigned spot, Kangoo sat down and began answering the expert's questions. You're Kangoo, right? Yes. She took a sphere and brought it forward, instructing him to place his hand on it. When he channels power into it, the sphere changes color according to his attribute rank. With his 10,000 years of experience, Kangoo just sighed and thought, no big deal. Standing out too much isn't always good. What if I get too strong? He placed his hand on the sphere, continuing to channel magic into it. Then it began to emit a fierce light. Without even looking at the results or process, Kangoo grimaced inside. Oh no, it looks like I'm showing off too much. The expert at the desk stared intently at the sphere the entire time without saying a word. After the light faded, she announced, Kangoo, you are an awakener of EP rank. He was stunned, speechless. He withdrew his hand. All right, the advisor said carefully, I'll guide you through what you need to note D, rank abilities, and below. His face was expressionless, understanding that his power was sealed down to rank F. The glasses-wearing woman began introducing, first you will receive an E-rank player card and gain access to the corresponding gate. For gates of higher rank, you can only enter if accompanied by a guardian. Kangoo stubbornly felt that this ability was different from usual, so maybe it shouldn't be underestimated. He sighed and sneered. If Balak heard this, he'd go crazy. That rotten demon would definitely scream, how dare she say that? The Demon King doesn't need protection. Kangoo was exhausted and dazed, the pain he'd endured for 10,000 years suddenly resurfacing. He asked her in despair, what do I need to do to level up? Through the expert, he learned she was actively participating in that process as well. If he completed the basic training, he would immediately reach rank D. Another method was to use the magic stones he had just traded. You can upgrade a lot of things. I think that's a good approach. After grasping his position, Kangoo slowly stood up. I understand now. The specialist quickly called out, please wait a moment while I prepare your player card. Then she added, do you need help registering for the basic course? Kangoo already had his own plans, so he gently declined. No, thank you. Having witnessed too many similar cases, she guessed Kangoo's mood and thought sadly, he must be shocked his level is so low. However, at this state, he's very likely to lose his life inside the gate. For many, that's a death sentence, so she understood that if the AI was at F level, it's better to give up being a player. While distracted, the crystal next to her started changing from clear white to deep black. The girl immediately noticed the orb's abnormality and asked in surprise, why did the color change when you reached out to check what's happening? Is it broken? Moments later, the orb seemed to overload and split in two, releasing powerful energy that startled her. That person's level was definitely EP. Afterwards, the smoke and strong dark energy still swirled around the orb, leaving the specialist stunned and troubled inside. She was shocked at this situation. Impossible. Even Baek Kang-hyun's aura, who is an S level, is only dark gray. There's no reason for a black color to exist. Then she called the receptionist. Reception, please help me exchange this crystal orb. Putting that matter aside, the scene shifts to the entrance of a dungeon gate. This place was already bustling with the chatter of countless people looking for teams. Someone shouted, any mages here? Thieves are looking for teammates. We don't accept thieves. We only accept healers level D and above. Any fighters here? The competition rate for team selection was very high. As Kangoo arrived, he saw this scene clearer than ever. I'm a thief. We don't take thieves. We'll accept anyone who isn't in a team yet. Do you accept burglars? Hearing continuous rejections for that profession, Kangoo could only sigh and hesitantly wonder, why is everyone rejecting thieves? Then he stepped up to the gate and showed his papers to the guard. This is my player card. He thought coldly to himself, but it wasn't really his concern. It didn't take long for the guard to verify. I've confirmed you're an E-level player. You may enter. Ignoring the chaos outside, Kangoo entered the dungeon gate for the first time with his hunting goal. Once completely through the gate into a new land, he couldn't help but say, looks like I got in. Kangoo couldn't hide his worry, secretly thinking he was a bit scared it might be a Hell EP level. Due to the aftershock of teleportation negatively affecting his body, Kangoo held his head and said, I don't like anything that requires instant teleportation. It feels strange, too. Then Kangoo shrugged, shook off his spirits, and prepared for his hunt, reminding himself, I should start looking for monsters first. Suddenly, a huge shadow appeared behind Kongu and called out, "Hey, just as you were shrugging." He looked back, staring at the large figure, making him wonder, is that a bear? It turned out to be a big man, looking straight down at him, calling him buddy. Then he probed, "Are you here alone? Have you gone through your second awakening yet?" Without any information about the other Kongu, only answered a few polite phrases. "Yes, yes, that's right." Seeing the big guy approaching without clear reason made him wary. What does this guy want? From behind the big guy's teammate spoke Tetsu. "We're ready." Kangu had already replied to him. "No, I haven't gone through the second awakening yet." Hearing this, the big guy suddenly shouted loudly, "Oh my God!" echoing and frightening both teammates, making them jump. Moments later, he smiled warmly at Kangu. "Looks like you haven't taken the basic course. Having an Edison subordinate on your team is much better than going alone." He eagerly offered the Devil King a suggestion. "What do you think about that? If you're not in a team yet, you could try playing with us." Seeing the teammate acted on his own, the team's female mage loudly scolded, "Hey Tetsu, why are you deciding things on your own?" The swordsman behind also voiced his agreement. "That's right, it's not like he can really help." Hearing such heartless abandonment, Tetsu flew into a rage and shouted, "Come on, guys, you know what situation he's in right now, don't you? We will save his life. If you really worry that much, then I won't accept any more magic stones from you. Let's add him to our group." Seeing his enthusiasm made Kongu reconsider. He seems like a good guy. Meanwhile, Tetsu kept persuading everyone as long as he doesn't get in our way. But in the end, Kangu still decided to decline his offer. "Thanks for the invitation, but I'll go hunting alone, no team needed." Before he could finish, the giant Tisu ran over eagerly to shake his hand. "Now that they agree, shall we introduce ourselves? My name is Kang Tazu, and yours is Kangu." Having already planned, he politely declined. "I'm Kangu, thanks for that, but I have no intention of joining any team." Before he could finish, Tetsu laughed loudly, overpowering him. "Just speak naturally. I may look like this, but I'm only 24 years old." Hearing his age, Kangu looked at him suspiciously as if questioning life itself. Why would he lie about being 24 with that face? Tisu had prepared for that, and without missing a beat, pulled out his info card to show Kangu, while his teammates behind waited expectantly. "Born in 1990, I'm Kang Taeju." This ridiculousness made Kangu wonder what the hell had happened in the past 5 years. But putting that aside, he returned to the topic. "All right then, I'll speak freely." Moments later, he called Tisu by name. "I appreciate your offer, but I came here with a clear plan in mind." His teammates around understood and stayed silent, leaving only the confused murmurs of Tisu. After a while, Tisu could only scratch his head in regret. "If you're that determined, then there's nothing I can do." Tisu, being kind-hearted, reminded Kangu. "But be careful. This area is the home of goblins. Among them is a large and strong goblin called the Goblin Boss. Basically, it's a goblin that's bigger, stronger, and more dangerous than the others. It's a boss monster on a completely different level from regular goblins. So you must escape it at all costs." Seeing his thoroughness made Kangu smile quietly. He's really kind. Then he thanked him. "All right, thanks for the advice." After sharing the important information, it was time for Tisu's group to leave, and he didn't forget to say goodbye to Kangu. "Take care." Seeing such enthusiasm, Kangu sighed. "If I were really a low-level F-rank hunter, maybe I'd join them, but he's not in that group." He rolled up his sleeves and got to work. "But I'm better off alone." As Kangu strode into the forest with determination, "Let's go." No sooner said than done, Kangu dashed off and quickly disappeared from sight. Moving along, he carefully observed everything around him, looking for goblin tracks. There are quite a few of them, so they must be somewhere nearby. Speeding past the trees, he excitedly realized he found them. Kangu didn't hesitate to charge right into the middle of the goblin pack. Here they are. Without a word, right after finding their lair, he took the first head and unexpectedly killed one. As soon as they detected an enemy infiltrating their base, the goblins signaled to the others about his presence. But at Kangu's speed, he killed one and immediately charged at the next before the goblins could react. Finding a whole village of soldiers to level up without effort, Kangu joyfully exclaimed, "Oh, jackpot!" They stood terrified and cautious in front of the weaker goblins, letting Kangu unleash his full power. Although goblins are not very intelligent and lack strength, they don't fear any AI. Seeing their opponent was Kangu, they panicked, and all pointed their swords at him. When Kangu struck one, two others turned away only to be finished off by another strike. Taking advantage of his distraction, a goblin jumped up, attempting a blind spot attack, but he's the main character, he saw it coming. Just then, those two used the momentum of their arms to spin and finish off the cowardly attacker. That still wasn't enough for him. After regaining distance from the others, he twisted his hips, pulled out his blade, and blocked attacks from the others. Without a word, he swung forcefully at his enemies, sending several of them straight into his experience bar. Kangu just finished this cluster and immediately blinked to another cluster, much to the goblins' astonishment. They just raised their swords, and seconds later, all logged out neatly, one by one, sometimes two or three at once. All of them resisted in vain, the blades freely bathed in blood. They were merely tools in Kangu's wild, frenzied dance. The weaker links trembled more than a threshing machine as they watched their comrades fall one by one. Upon hearing Kangu's voice say, "There are still many left," the pure joy of slaughter was just beginning. He laughed excitedly, looking at the goblins. "Then I'll see you off for a bit." As he finished speaking, his blade resumed its dance in the wilderness. After a while, his blade finally stopped swinging and gradually retracted. The initial chaotic scene was replaced by Kangu's tired sighs. Killed quite a lot. Looking back at the battlefield, he muttered to himself, "So many monsters really is exhausting." Suddenly, a notification popped up. Looking closely, he saw some important messages. "You have defeated an E-rank goblin. Experience points gained. You have leveled up 4 times. Magic power increased by 1. He was surprised and wondered if magic power would increase with leveling up. Setting that aside, he reached toward the cold corpse of a goblin on the ground. For now, he knew there was no power inside the magic stones. As he activated his gluttonous ability, the entire surrounding scenery darkened. Countless mouths began to appear from the void, ravenously devouring the loot lying on Kangu's ground. While focusing on controlling everything, he felt something he could sense: magic. After examining their body parts carefully, he concluded that the source of magic power wasn't in the magic stones. He sensed it throughout their bodies, with strength varying depending on the time of death. This meant if he absorbed the corpses of freshly dead monsters, he could gradually collect magic power. Kangu excitedly said, "Great, I can sell magic stones this way and also gain magic power." When the corpses were completely reduced to bones, Kangu became even happier. "Just arrange everything. I only need to count the magic stones before leaving." While happily picking up every leftover magic stone after devouring the corpses, he wondered how many chickens he could buy if he sold all these stones. Looking at the clean, scattered bones on the ground, he imagined that he only ate the meat and left the bones, just like when eating chicken. Speaking of chicken, he immediately thought of crispy golden fried chicken wings and drumsticks, hot and mouth-watering. But chicken meat makes you crave it even more. "Once I get out of here, I'll probably rush straight to the chicken shop. I'll bring Sale along too. Just imagining him gently feeding me a piece of chicken makes Cho Kyung-gu drool with delight. Kings and emperors are nothing compared to this." Fueled by great motivation, he felt like his power had increased by 200%, relentlessly scooping up the magic stones on the ground. He shouted loudly, "Hey Sheila, wait for me. I'll treat you to marinated chicken, crispy fried chicken, and pickled radish too." Suddenly, out of nowhere, a loud noise made Kangu freeze and listen carefully. He turned his head, cautiously amazed to discover something interesting in front of him. Seeing the large figure, he became curious. Is this the thing Taesu mentioned? A great demon, a huge demon. Without a word, its blazing red eyes shot toward Kangu, growling. Now its eyes locked tightly onto his image. Then it roared loudly, its whole body radiating strong energy. Kangu was startled and confused, stunned. Is it magic? Seeing the giant blue monster charging, Kangu was a bit surprised. It knows how to control magic. He stood ready, his gaze fierce with magic. Kangu's eyes narrowed quietly, calculating, if it's about destructive power, my dark magic is far superior to that guy's magic. But in a blink, it raised its sword high and stood right in front of Kangu. With a terrifying growl, the blue monster didn't hesitate to slam down hard where he stood. Luckily, Kangu dodged by an inch. But even dodging aside, its stomp still knocked Kangu flying a long distance. Immediately, he raised the 2 knives on his hands to block as its strike came down. This time, it knocked Kangu far away. Before he even landed, that massive figure had already raised its sword and lunged forward without warning. Another heavy slam hit the ground, sending rocks flying and dust everywhere. As the dust settled, a solid foot appeared. Kangu lowered his center of gravity, raised both hands over his head, successfully blocking the monster's attack. But this was a bit too much for him. Kangu gritted his teeth, staring intently at the point of impact, feeling a bit worried. The problem is the physical strength gap caused by weight difference. After a while, it seemed he couldn't hold on anymore, so he clenched his teeth and used the last bit of strength he had. Kangu shoved its strike aside, successfully dodging, but this only made the monster even more furious. It bared its fierce teeth. Seeing Kangu look shaky, it struck first. It swiftly leaned to the side, using its shoulder armor to block the blow, then threw him aside with momentum. Seeing that armor crack just once, Kangu cursed quietly. Damn, I got pushed back by its spear. Because my stats are still low, I need to find a bigger weakness. While complaining, he leaned to dodge the sword swinging at him. But its next attack was even faster. Kangu had to give it his all to dodge and save himself. Each strike came faster and faster. He dodged lower and lower, almost scraping the ground. Seeing he couldn't hit Kangu, the monster angrily raised its sword, stomped down with its huge foot, then kicked toward the direction Kangu dodged. It alternated between slashing with the sword, dropping to one knee to block escape routes, then swinging and hooking with his hands in all sorts of moves. Yet Kangu's body seemed made of water, skillfully evading the deadly blade. This time he stepped back further, crouching low to the ground, his eyes still fixed on the monster's moves. Quickly calculating that strong arm helped him fight well as the leader, he would definitely be different. Kangu's face hardened. He narrowed his eyes, calculating his next move against the demons he had already killed. This time it swung the sword again. Kangu dodged as usual. But the tree behind him wasn't so lucky. It was cut in half with a single slash. Looking at the rocky ground ahead, Kangu thought, although he's the destroyer of its territory, I casually grabbed the stone in front of me and nimbly dodged its attack while thinking about the earlier story and killing its minions. It's simply my entertaining prey. Kangu smirked slightly. The stone he just picked up was quickly hurled forward at a terrifying speed, aiming straight at the blue monster. When it hit the monster and fell, it turned out that stone was the skull of one of its kind. It immediately got pissed off, furrowed its brow, and growled loudly. He held the same pose as before and confidently declared, this should be enough. Kangu clenched his fist, erupting with fury, gathering all the great power and wrath of the demon Crossel. His body began to transform, eyes glowing bright blue, veins bulging fiercely. He loosened his grip, silently thinking, it's not mine, it's his. As soon as he finished speaking, behind that blue monster appeared a demon even more terrifying than the blue monster. It seemed unaware that all eyes were still on Kangu. Its mouth growled angrily, ready to leap forward and devour him whole. Seconds later came that same growl, but this time it groaned in pain because its body was firmly grabbed by a sharp claw, rendering the blue monster helpless. Kangu let out a sigh of relief, but then the next second the hand holding the blade tightened, and the blue monster recklessly charged forward with a powerful slash. Luckily, he squatted down just in time to dodge, but the forest behind him was not so lucky. This time, not one, but many trees were cut in half simultaneously. It was still not satisfied, flipping its blade to strike again. Kangu was fine, but the trees were brutally split apart. He paused briefly. This power was actually a support ability that amplified the user's strength many times over. The blue monster's eyes glowed fiercely. It let out a loud roar, then went mad, charging to attack. Punching and hooking its forehead, then swinging its blade continuously. In that noisy, hazy space, Kangu kept dodging while still having time to think. But in reality, the price of that power was a curse that turned the target's brain into decoration. He used supersonic speed to dodge its attacks, still smiling, brightly, eyes shining with confidence. The simple, chaotic attacks of an irrational monster. Kangu's eyes burned red, still smiling, his fist raised as he began to strike back. His calculations gradually proved to be the easiest way to create openings for attack. Kangu confidently lunged into the blue monster's blade swing, dodging and striking its left knee with his first hit. This made it roar in pain, successfully knocking it down, its leg buckling. Kangu clenched his fist, eyes looking up to predict the next attack. The blue monster raised its blade high. His recent strike deactivated its attack passive, its eyes glowing brightly. The blue monster swung down with all its strength. A bit stunned by this strike, it didn't know who had fired that syrup. Kangu or the blue monster? The blue monster lay motionless, Kangu's blade piercing through its head, syrup splattered everywhere. Finally, he exhaled softly, looking at his syrup-stained hand. Kangu quietly sighed in helplessness. It would be so much easier if I had more power. So that means I have to start over again. He brushed his hand to wipe off the syrup, then looked at the virtual mailbox in front of him, a bit surprised. Kangu clicked it, and a few lines of notification appeared. You have cleared the monster territory alone. You will receive 150% experience points. You have successfully defeated a C-rank boss monster, Hopgun Bean. He muttered quietly, that was a boss. The notification continued, you have leveled up 3 times. This line surprised Kangoo a bit. Next, you have unlocked the Second Awakening. Upon reaching level 2, your special ability, Second Awakening, has been unlocked. He clenched his fist joyfully. This information thrilled Kangoo immensely. All right, the Second Awakening. The note about this power appeared right after the special ability, Second Awakening, Insatiable Hunger. Effect: you will absorb more magical power from defeated targets when using Gluttony. He thought silently, that's fine. Even if it's not a strong skill from now on, I can absorb more magic power. Kangoo continuously operated on the virtual screen, whispering excitedly, if I use the advantages of being a player, I can become stronger, right? Then let's see how strong my special ability is. Looking at the huge corpse in front of him, he gently placed his hand on its head and quietly activated Gluttony. A strong dark energy appeared, quickly swallowing that huge corpse whole. Kangoo looked at the dark light swirling on his hand and softly marveled, the energy is darker now. Is this the effect of the special ability? Thinking that he touched the shadowy corpse again. The system quickly followed up with a notification: Insatiable Hunger has been activated. You will absorb more mana. Your mana stat will increase by 3. Total mana is 19. These numbers surprised Kangoo greatly. The absorption amount has definitely increased. Holding a small energy orb in his hand, he seemed satisfied. Defeating strong monsters will surely make me stronger. That huge corpse now is just a pure white skeleton. Kangoo squinted his eyes and silently calculated perfect to see how this mana increase affects him. Closing his eyes, he began to feel the mana flow that now surrounded him. But Kangoo was a bit surprised by his power. He thought he would be at least twice as strong as before. He clenched his fist, suspicion rising. Is it actually 3 times stronger than I thought? It increased that fast as Kangoo silently marveled such a sudden power surge could be dangerous. The mana aura rose and enveloped him inside an illusion. Perhaps Kangoo sat down fully to feel the surface beneath his feet. This place is the Marriott Mana Gate. It seemed he discovered something, silently thinking he already knew. Kangoo's brows furrowed tightly, his mood a bit restless. The seal on the Marriott Mana Gate has weakened. He lowered his eyes with confusion. But why shouldn't there be any other special changes besides awakening? Glancing at the holographic info panel nearby, then suddenly realizing something, he gasped inwardly. Kangoo guessed in his head, don't tell me every time I unlock an awakening. You have unlocked the Second Awakening after reaching level 2. Unlocking the Second Awakening weakens the seal on the Marriott Mana Gate again. He smirked confidently, his gaze becoming more determined. If that's true, then if I keep leveling up, I might be able to regain my original power. If so, there's even more reason to reach the higher level gate. Kangoo stood straight, cheering himself on, all right. He picked up the gem beneath the monster's skeleton. Then Kangoo smiled strangely, playing with the gem in his hand, and whispered, the next goal is the Third Awakening at level 21. Sometime later, at a busy diner filled with chatter, Kangoo and Koa sat eating like they hadn't eaten in ages. Kangoo stuffed a piece of fried chicken into his mouth, his other hand immediately grabbing the next piece. He devoured each bite, deliciously swallowed. Then grabbed his beer, chugged down half the cup in one go, slammed the glass down on the table, and shouted with satisfaction, that's perfect. The girl sitting opposite him watched him eat happily and smiled, asking, is it that good? Kangoo wiped his mouth with his hand and replied, yes, very good. Then Koa wanted to tease him, so she threw a killer question, better than the kimchi soup I make. The question left Kangoo speechless for a moment, hesitating before seriously replying, even so, I like your kimchi soup better. Just waiting for that, Koa laughed and said, I'm just kidding, you're really funny. Embarrassed, he raised his beer glass to hide his awkwardness and smiled sheepishly. Is that so? She knew she was a bit too quick to grab more food on her plate. Kangoo invited, you can have some of mine too. Kangoo cheerfully exclaimed, asking her, you sure? But before Koa could answer, he quickly said, thanks a lot. Suddenly she fell silent for a moment, then hesitantly spoke, Kangoo, if you don't mind. Kangoo was still chewing happily, looking up at her. Koa paused a bit before continuing. Do you have friends or family? The question made Kangoo freeze. The atmosphere suddenly became strangely quiet, even though people around still chatted loudly as usual. He lifted his beer glass, finished it off, then slammed it down hard, this time with some bitterness. I don't. No friends. The glass Kangoo hit fell to the floor, clinking rhythmically. He answered sadly, family, even home too. She looked at him worriedly, probing, so where do you sleep? Kangoo bent down, hiding his current emotions as he answered Koa in the calmest tone. I actually have nowhere to go, but his hands holding the fork trembled slightly, revealing his true feelings. Seeing that, she immediately made a suggestion. I don't know if you're okay with this. Yeah, but if you don't mind, would you like to stay at my place? After hearing this, Kang Yu's eyes widened in surprise as he asked, are you sure? Koa reached out and took another fork from the box, saying, yeah, in this short time, you don't know how much you've helped me. Don't worry about it. She smiled and explained while Kang Yu scratched his head awkwardly and shyly said, then I'll accept your offer. Taking the ring from Koa's hand, he happily said, good luck to both of us. Sheila also said aloud, and teased, I'll have to rely on you to take care of me too, Kang Yu. Koa looked at him fondly, thinking that Kang Yu seemed to have a lot he wanted to say. After sitting for a while, he suddenly remembered and exclaimed, oh, and I have something I want to give you. Kang Yu pushed out a thick envelope and said, this should be about 3,000 won. Koa's eyes widened in surprise as she quickly asked, but why are you giving this to me? Kang Yu calmly replied, consider it my fee for staying here. She waved her hand nervously, stammering, if that's the case, I can't accept it. Koa whispered sadly, you've helped me so much already. It wouldn't be right for me to take this money. Before she finished, he interrupted reassuringly, you've been spending a lot lately. I know you've been going through a tough time. Koa hesitated but didn't refuse further. He pushed the money forward, pulled his hand away from the stack, and said, don't feel pressured because I also eat your food. If you don't like me calling it a staying fee, then I'll call it grocery money. Looking at the lone stack of money on the table, Koa had no choice but to accept it. Helplessly, she hugged the money tightly, tears welling in her eyes as she looked at Kang Yu. Thank you so much, Kang Yu. He forced a smile and said, no need. Then I have a proposal tomorrow. I'll use better meat to cook kimchi stew. It'll be even tastier than before. Hearing that, he drooled excitedly and joined in. Really? Feeling nothing but joy inside. I get to eat kimchi stew every day now. I knew it. Sheila really is an angel. I'll sell magic stones to make money and make her happy. Just thinking about it made Kang Yu cry tears of joy. Suddenly remembering something, he paused and asked, Sheila, have there been any D-rank gates recently? She thought for a moment and replied, if you're looking for a D-rank gate, there's one nearby. Although I haven't been there, I heard it's full of lizard people. Kang Yu put a piece of chicken in his mouth, his eyes drifting into thought. Lizard people, I have to go there tomorrow. I have to defeat stronger monsters, unlock the next awakening faster, and earn more money. While thinking, he didn't forget to eat, continuously stabbing pieces of meat on the plate, his head still drifting, but really does lizard meat taste good. Thinking about this, Kang Yu called Sheila. Could you take me to a bedroom that hasn't been used for a long time? She introduced, this room used to belong to my brother, but now you can use it as you like. Kang Yu entered the room with his personal belongings and politely replied, thank you very much. Then Kang Yu sat down on the single bed in the room, sincerely expressing his gratitude to her. Thanks to you, I can finally have a comfortable sleep. Yeah, Sheila replied, slightly blushing. You're welcome. Perhaps noticing it was late, Sheila didn't stay to disturb Kang Yu's rest. She stepped out of the room and turned off the light for him. Well then, good night, Kang Yu, she said. He replied softly, yeah, good night, Sheila. The door closed, but not completely. There was a small gap letting light from outside into the dark room. He looked towards that light for a moment, then quietly lay on the single bed, thinking to himself, this is the comfort I haven't felt in 10,000 years. So quiet and so relaxing. Definitely the right decision to come back here. Meanwhile, somewhere else, many people were gathering as if preparing for a very important mission. Here, the activity of recruiting teammates was bustling with excitement. The first person called out, I'm looking for the Stage 2 Awakening Merchant Sister. The second person called out, I am looking for people with special abilities, higher than level C. In Group 3, recruitment. We are running a team ready to take you in quickly and safely during the Awakening Phase 3. Kang Yu thought to himself, since he had reached level D, there would be teammates here. While he was alone looking for teammates, he accidentally glimpsed an image of Taehyung kneeling and begging to join a team, saying, please let me join. I will be orderly and help everyone bandage or whatever. The other person flatly refused, saying they don't accept people who only know how to bandage. Kang Yu was slightly surprised. It's him too. At this rate, they'll have to accept him. I feel so bad. He walked to the gate to confirm the player's rank. The soldier on duty checked his card and confirmed, all right, we have confirmed you are a level D player. Kang Yu still had some doubts about Taehyung's story earlier, but Roy Kang Yu put it aside. Well, it's not my business anyway. Then Kang Yu stepped through the level D gate. He entered, looked around for a moment, then finally lay down on the grass. So this is the level D gate. Should I move stealthily, meaning do what? Kang Yu immediately activated silent power mode. Kang Yu questioned the lizard. He remembered what Sheila had said. They are sensitive to sound but have poor eyesight. If you don't approach it silently, they will immediately pounce on you. The lizards are large, bipedal creatures resembling humans in size, about the size of an adult. Except for these two features, they look no different from normal lizards in appearance. Kang Yu's eyes brightened. Good spotted them already. Sheila had taught Kang Yu this knowledge. They also fear fire, so if there's a fire mage in his team, it would be more effective in hunting the lizards. Remembering this, he immediately used the power of the demon Andrus Hellfire to burn all the lizards present at the scene. Because their eyes can't clearly see the future, they got caught in the fire. They struggled, jumped into the water, and tried everything to extinguish the fire. By instinct, the more stupid ones just stood aside quietly, reminding themselves, you can't put out hellfire with normal fire extinguishing methods. If you don't use magic or sorcery to suppress the fire, you will never be able to extinguish it. And because it burns your life force, not your physical body, you can only leave your corpse behind for the enemy. Speaking of which, wasn't Han Tae-hyun's guild called Andros? I think he just randomly picked that name somewhere. I mean, if it doesn't work out, I can always destroy everything myself. After seeing the lizards completely lose all their strength behind him, there was still another group of lizards. Kang Yu turned to look at them and considered whether he should hunt more. Should I hunt another pack? While hesitating, someone called out, cutting off his thoughts. A boy asked, judging by your gear, you must be new, right? Do you want to join our hunting guild? Kang Yu wasn't very interested in this topic. He just asked casually, what guild is that? They introduced themselves, we are the Andros Guild. Kang Yu looked at them for a moment, then replied, I'm not interested. Saying that, he turned and walked away, leaving the person behind. They saw his attitude and were angry, mixed with confusion. What's with that? What a proud brat. He looks like a newbie, but isn't humble at all. The woman beside him softly asked, honey, what should we do? If he keeps acting like this, the guild leader will. He replied, if it's come to this, just leave him half alive, then dump his body somewhere. It's been a long time since we relieved some pressure. Let's teach that guy a lesson in life. His expression grew darker, revealing a rather malicious intent. Kang Yu left that group, continued hunting lizards using his old technique to defeat all of them. After killing quite a few lizard people, he thought to himself, looks like I've cleared out the whole neighborhood. Safety is good, but to level up fast, a little danger is okay. Kang Yu was looking for something that shone with purple light. Maybe it's the combined power of all those lizard people from before. He looked at it, stroking his chin, thinking, what should I do now? Lost in his own world, suddenly a voice startled him. Clutching the glowing object tightly, he instinctively turned toward the sound. He analyzed the voice and realized it was human. The other seemed to read his thoughts. He spoke, don't you remember, I'm your senior. I was curious if the newcomer hunter was any good, so I came here to check. After observing carefully, he silently judged that those guys, before only looked at him, they were definitely scumbags who bullied the weak. Kang Yu appeared unfazed. You worry for nothing. As you can see, I'm doing just fine here. They looked at him with contempt. Is that so? But your clothes are still clean, and there's not a single corpse around. Kang Yu replied indifferently, because I wanted to take a break. They questioned with a senior tone. Then why are you mocking your seniors like that? Because being too kind brings trouble. Kang Yu decided to stop holding back. He answered, because I find this senior a bit troublesome. His casual tone drove the other guy crazy. That bastard. The angrier he got, the more nonchalant Kang Yu became. What you want to fight? Tae-hyun, standing behind, seemed unable to contain his anger. He lunged at him, but before he could land a blow, a hand shot out to block him and stopped him. Tae-hyun reassured, but don't worry, Ho-jun. I've figured out how to teach that rude bastard a lesson. Kang Yu thought to himself, if he acts this disrespectful, maybe he's at least a B rank. They sneered, you're really annoying, but I'll make you regret it right now. Kang Yu showed no fear, instead looking excited and eager. They gripped their swords tightly. Let's see how long you can keep up the mockery. Then one slammed his sword hard against the metal forearm guard, making a loud noise. His teammate warned, hey, lizard people are very sensitive to loud noises. Kang Yu looked at him like he was a dumb show-off, not sure what he was trying to do. Cute, really, not just one hit. The guy crazily hit it again, even harder. The noise successfully attracted the lizard people. Ripples appeared on the water's surface. He grinned, they're coming. Prepare a defensive spell for me. After stepping into his shield, he looked at him with disdain. What do you plan to do to stop me? Just by sound, I can distinguish hundreds of types like this. Maybe I'm going too far. Teaching a cocky punk like you a lesson, right? So if you kneel and beg me, maybe I'll reconsider. Before I beat you to disability, now you're so scared you can't speak. Then Kang Yu calmly replied, I was just wondering how strong you all really are, but turns out that's all you got. Ho-jun could hear a bit of contempt in his words. He couldn't understand and asked, "What the hell are you talking about?" Kangyu was teaching those guys how to scare an AI. To scare that AI, at least you have to do it like this. He stretched both hands wide to the sides, gathered 10 sources of power, and then used the power of supersonic. Just one clap from him was dozens of times louder than the sword hitting the forearm guard like Hojun had done. Of course, he couldn't fully use it when he was just starting out. It was only the beginning. The other guy panicked. "What is this?" "Hey, you crazy bastard, stop." Maybe he was about to fly up and stomp hard on the ground. But since those guys begged him, he gently landed back and responded. Hojun panicked. "What the hell is this bastard doing?" The scene grew darker. Lizard people appeared from everywhere. They had discovered Hojun's group from inside. He exclaimed, "He's completely crazy." The woman panicked. "I've never seen so many lizards appear like this." Another guy didn't even give her time to panic. "Hey, focus and fix the shield now." Hojun's group started arguing among themselves. "You're insane trying to get us all killed." From underground, Kanggu flew up onto a tree branch and asked Hojun, "Weren't you the one who said lizards are very sensitive to sound?" "I know that I know perfectly well." 8 lizards were beginning a fierce attack outside the shield. At that moment, Hojun shouted 70% anger, 20% despair, 10% confusion. "You damn bastard, are you really crazy? Planning to kill us all just to vent your anger?" Sao and Kanggu calmly replied, "What are you talking about? I have no intention of dying." His gaze from the tree branch grew more dangerous. His words sharpened. "The only ones who must die here are you." He stood on the branch watching their small group inside the shield fight the lizards gradually surrounding them outside. This was the power of sound energy. The lizard people didn't touch Kanggu at all. Only now did Hojun panic and suspect the skill of sound control. Hojun shouted to his teammates, "Raise that barrier up quickly." One teammate was pierced through the stomach by a lizard's attack. Another looked at him with a hateful gaze. Hojun panicked and crouched down on the ground as his teammates were picked off one by one, unable to fight back. He tried to cover his mouth tightly with both hands to suppress the helpless sobbing. He couldn't resist nor do anything else. The only thing he could do was sit there and try not to make a sound. The weapon in the unlucky teammate's hand fell beside Hojun. He trembled, pleading for Kanggu's help. "Please save me. I was wrong, please." Kanggu responded to his desperate panic with indifference. He calmly said, "CEO Bay, good luck." Then he clenched his fist and made an extremely loud noise near him. Hojun was completely hopeless now. He shouted helplessly, "You bastard!" Unable to escape fate, he was attacked by the lizard people and died in painful helplessness. He fought demons with the even crueler demons in a fiercer killing intent. Kanggu stood on the branch observing everything. Kanggu used hellfire to burn everything. When everything settled, he decided to claim the loot. "So let's get started." Kanggu used the greedy skill. Yes, the system announced an increase in mana stats. Cannot continue using greedy on the object. The system's protection function saw this notification, and he was confused thinking, "This protection system sounds familiar." Then he suddenly remembered from that time. Standing amid the chaotic scene, he thought, "So what I'm seeing those here are likely players protected by this also called the Thorn Protection System. I want to know if I can digest it." The special ability of players using greedy. He looked at Hojun's corpse. Next to the body was a magic stone. Kanggu sighed softly. "Well, it doesn't matter, but the amount of mana I can use is still the most important thing." The system announced the mana stat had reached 30. He looked at it and exclaimed, "Mana has increased significantly compared to before. Not just the total mana after collecting everything." Kanggu tried activating Hellfire to test it. Then he realized the quality of the current mana was what really mattered. "I just need to level up one more time." He eagerly awaited the third awakening. "I hunted too much today, so the third awakening won't be far off." He stepped forward, picked up the stone next to Hojun's corpse, and turned back. "I'll keep going a bit more." 3 days later at Sia's house, Kanggu carried the whole pot and happily finished all the food Sia cooked. He praised without reservation. "Today's meal is still as delicious as always, Sia." Sia replied, "Thank you, Kanggu. Are you heading to the gate to hunt again today?" Kanggu thought for a moment and replied, "That's right. I'll probably come back for dinner." Koa picked up the electric kettle and sighed softly. "Aren't you pushing yourself too hard? You haven't rested for a few days yet." Kanggu smiled and answered, "I'm fine." "Did you remember something?" He asked Koa, "When does your class end?" Koa replied, "I think I'll be done in a few days." Clearly, starting today, we're going to hunt dwarf demons to level up. I don't know if we'll do well, but I also want to awaken a second time soon. She brewed tea while chatting. He encouraged her sincerely. I'm sure you'll do it soon. She replied with thanks and handed him a cup of tea. Have another cup before you go. You must be tired from lack of sleep. Kengu sincerely thanked her. He thought silently, this must be an angel. In the quiet moment, he remembered something. Koa spoke up. I forgot. I just remembered to ask me about the gate. She asked if he had heard any news about the gate. He wondered what news. She shared the knowledge she knew. She told him, there's a rumor that high-level players are around here. It might be false rumors, but you should still be careful. Kengu heard this and thought to himself that high-level players disguise their ranks and attack others. He wondered if the rumor started from that bastard Andras. Then he dismissed the thought. No, I checked around before hunting. There were no witnesses. Judging by the corpses, it seems they were killed by lizardmen. If the rumor was about me, I wouldn't have much to worry about. But I can't be sure. Kengu muttered to himself that he should prepare for all possibilities and level up as fast as possible. The system notified Kengu you have reached level 20. Upon reaching level 20, you will awaken for the third time. The third awakening has been activated. He felt his magic had increased significantly from before. He thought to himself, but this time it's a whole different level. To test the new power, let's see. He tried using the Hellfire skill, and then he self-assessed just as he thought. But there was still something bothering him inside. Every time the seals of countless demon gates weaken, magic flows out through the weakened seals. On the ground appeared a magic stone inside something like a monster's mouth, all covered in purple, making the blue stone stand out even more. Kengu thought quietly, should I take a quick look at this magic stone? The system notified Kengu awakening attribute pseudo stage 3 craving demon, mana grade A attribute. You can convert mana in the magic stone into demon energy to absorb. He picked up the magic stone from the ground. Silently, he evaluated the stone's quality as not bad at all. Its demon energy value is equivalent to that of a monster. This means I can double the speed of absorbing demon energy. Kengu felt a bit regretful, thinking he might lose some money he could have made selling the magic stone. But then he decided, well, I've earned quite a bit these days anyway. For now, I have no reason to go to the Magic Stone Trading Center anymore. While doing something on his phone, Kengu suddenly had a great idea since he still had spare time. I want to explore this new ability a little more. I should also stroll around the forest a bit more. Thinking of doing it, he immediately took off his outer jacket and tied it around his waist. Beginning his journey to explore this place, Kengu crouched on the ground using the power of the sky to launch himself high up, to observe everything more easily. Hovering in midair after a moment, he suddenly realized something. Now thinking back, I still haven't encountered that lizardman boss yet. I want to try absorbing a magic stone with a slightly higher quality, but this forest really limits visibility. Kengu sighed regretfully. I don't have enough demon energy to use the omniscient power. Then while intently observing everything around, he suddenly heard voices from somewhere. Hey, what are you doing? He recognized the voice as somewhat familiar. He silently doubted. That voice is Tisu. Just as he predicted, Tisu was standing opposite Taeho and John Ho. Two sets of teeth clenched tightly. Kengu flew closer to the area and observed everything. Taeho spoke with contempt. That damn Sichi bastard. You're really stubborn to the point of disgust, John Ho added. Well, that suits his stupid mind just fine. But he really is tougher than I thought hiding behind a tree. Kengu wondered what was going on. Clearly something unusual was happening. His eyes shifted toward Taehyun, who was lying face down on the ground. Tisu's voice roared, "What the hell is going on?" After looking for a while, he finally remembered, wasn't that the person who was wandering around alone looking for the team? What Tisu growled angrily at the two others. Why did you attack members of my team? John Ho spoke with utter disgust. Damn it, your yelling sounds pretty good, Taeho warned. What if you accidentally attract the attention of that violent lizard guy? Why does he seem not to care about that at all? He continued to question. Just answer straight. After observing for a while, Kengu drew a rough conclusion. Just by looking, you can tell he's been betrayed. Looks like those bastards are the troublemakers rumored about. Then he quietly sighed with relief. Just as I thought, that's not really me. Taeho raised his weapon to attack Tisu. He shouted angrily, "Why the hell shut up and do what they say?" He charged at Tisu. Tisu used his shield to block, but because the force was too strong, he was affected too. His body was pushed backward. Tisu didn't do anything else. He gritted his teeth, panting. John Ho commented, "This guy is really tough." Taeho asked, "Is he really a stage 2 awakener?" What? He's that strong? Tisu's hand gripped the shield tightly and slammed it down, creating a golden aura around the area. With a determined voice, "I won't lose as easily as you want." John-ho finally answered Taeho's earlier question. He must have awakened with fairly high attributes. Taeho stepped closer to Tissue without turning his face. But still, someone who hasn't passed the third awakening has no chance against these guys. Tissue's eyebrows furrowed tightly, just like Kim Dan Len's. Taeho licked his tongue over his beloved axe. His gaze turned sinister. "Let's finish this here and now," John-ho kindly reminded. "Remember, we're not allowed to kill him." He replied, "Of course," Kangoo wondered. "They can't kill." "What do you mean by that?" His eyes grew deep and thoughtful. Quietly observing the whole situation, Kangoo looked at Tissue, silently hesitating. "I came here just out of curiosity, but should I help him?" Taeho used a strong tone to remind Tissue to keep his shield up. "This is going to hurt a bit." Kangoo was startled when he saw the weapon. "Wait, that's Kangoo." He immediately rushed out from the bushes, stood between the two Taeho men, turning his back to Tissue to get a closer look at the weapon, then firmly confirmed it was demonic power. "How could these guys possibly have that?" Taeho looked at him confused. "Who are you?" "Just passing by," John-ho sighed. "This bastard's pretty unlucky." Seeing the person in front of him look somewhat familiar, Tissue was surprised. After a moment, one of the two on the other side spoke. "Now that we know your faces, don't dream about leaving here safely." And at this moment, Tissue suspiciously called out to Kangoo. Taeho stared at Kangoo and asked Chun-ho, "There's no reason to capture him alive, right?" John-ho answered as if it was obvious. "Yeah, definitely." Tissue regained some composure. "We've already hit our quota with those two." Taeho smiled wickedly. "Is that so? All right." He slowly raised the axe and advanced toward Kangoo. So the first time in a long while, seeing that Taesu hurriedly reminded Kangoo to run, Taeho continued his unfinished sentence. "I should also get to fight and kill as I wish, right?" He swung the club hard toward Kangoo. Contrary to his forceful attack, Kangoo just lightly flicked his hand, and he was knocked far away to the astonishment of his teammates. John-ho unrealistically asked Taeho, who was sitting on the ground, "What are you doing?" Suddenly, "What's wrong?" He held one side of his face and turned around. "It's not like I'm feeling that strange." Before Taeho could attack again, Kangoo rushed over and punched relentlessly without missing. Tessa was surprised. Kangoo saw Taeho getting beaten so badly. John-ho's team, Spirit, flared up. He grabbed a stick and charged at Kangoo, shouting, "You bastard!" Kangoo emotionlessly used the power of the black hole of destruction to attack both of them. One in front, one on the side, handled swiftly, a redundant move at a speed that only created an illusion. John-ho got hit and screamed miserably. Taeho was even worse. His face was swollen like a pig's head. Surely even his own mother wouldn't recognize her beloved son. Kangoo stepped towards him, grabbing his hair with one hand to tilt his face up. In a voice without any emotion, he asked, "Let me ask you this. Where the hell did you get that demonic power?" Although beaten badly, Taeho didn't answer but snarled, "How the hell would you know?" Before he finished, Kangoo slammed his face hard onto the ground. Kangoo grabbed Taeho's hair and asked in a low voice, "I'm the one asking you, so answer obediently." "I'll ask one more time, where did you get that dark power from?" Despite his bruised and swollen face like a pig's head, he still kept silent. "I can't say." Kangoo denied, "No, you don't want to tell me." He had to use the terrifying power to force him to speak. Sure enough, under the horrific torture, Taeho fearfully blurted out two words, "Guildmaster, Guildmaster, Guildmaster." Before he finished speaking, his teammate shouted, "Shut up, shut up." "So Taeho, are you even conscious?" Because he was too troublesome and ruined the big plan. Kangoo gave him a staff hit. "Stay put." John-ho was hit by the staff, flying backward and spitting out fresh blood. Kangoo continued to interrogate. "So what was the name of that guildmaster you just mentioned?" Taeho responded almost immediately. "Andros, the Andros Guild." He knelt down, trembling. "I'm the guildmaster. Our group held a ritual and gave me this power." Kangoo asked curiously. "A ritual? What kind of ritual?" Taeho hesitated awkwardly. That thing?" Seeing that Kangoo stepped closer and squeezed both his cheeks, "You still haven't learned your lesson." "Tell me." He was tortured again, this time stammering in fear. "The ritual, the ritual, the ritual," and then dying in agonizing pain. Seeing no valuable information, Kangoo clicked his tongue, looked at the corpse, and guessed, "They probably installed a device that kills the subject if they speak about the ritual." Tissue then carefully asked, "Excuse me, are you Kangoo?" "You're Kangoo, right?" Taehyun had also woken up by then. "That's right, what's up?" Tissue excitedly and happily, because he met a familiar person I know. "Kangoo, I met you before." He just woke up Taehyun. He sat up, looked at him, and asked, "Tissue here, introducing player Kangoo who saved us." Then remembering something, he immediately asked Kangu, "But I thought you were at the E-rank gate." Kangu casually replied, "I went there to do some errands." Yeah, recalling the scene when they met that day, he asked, as if confirming, "So you're not a new player?" He answered, "Yeah." "Oh, so that's why you needed to think it over." Tasu solved his doubt at that moment. He happily shook Kangu's hand. "Anyway, thanks. If it weren't for you, we'd have died because of those crazy idiots." His large hand gripped his tightly and shook it hard, looking a bit funny. Taehyun stood beside, blushing and shyly scratching his ear. "I wanted to thank you too, but maybe because I'm shy, my voice was too quiet to get attention." Tasu laughs loudly. "Wow, I didn't expect we'd meet like this again, and you're even a high-level player now." "I will definitely repay this." Kangu also smiles politely in response. "All right, thank you." Recalling those Andros guys, he spoke with a hint of disdain, "But those damn Andros don't have much of a good reputation anyway. But I didn't expect they would have someone using magic. I have to report this immediately and warn the Warang Legion about it." Hearing the unfamiliar name, Kangu asks again, "The Warang Legion?" Tesu explains to him, "It's a group of players managed by the government. If I report that the Andros Guild is using players with magic, they will investigate right away." Kangu strokes his chin thoughtfully for a moment. "Really? Tesu, don't report what happened here right now." Tesu is a bit surprised, huh? "You plan to?" Kangu says, "Make my own decision." "I will handle the Andros Guild myself." Tesu agrees. "If you're the one requesting it, then I understand." Although I don't understand Atsu's logic, Kangu finally relents. "All right, first, let's forget what happened here." Tesu immediately kneels on one knee, surprising him. Tesu, seriously, I'm even more scared. "I will follow your orders. I will help with your journey and make the Andros Guild pay for what they've done." What's so surprising, Kangu Tesu continues to personally punish their wrongdoing. What you're doing is stirring up Kangu's inner feeling. Kangu's inner feelings. What is he talking about? Tesu is full of heroic spirit straight out of the movies. Kangu immediately denies it in his heart. "Not at all. Tesu, I like it a lot. I also like movies." Kangu's inner voice questions, but Tesu is firm. "I care. Tesu has been overwhelmed by your heroism. I have to repay you. I want to join this journey with you and repay you along the way." He is confused for a moment. "What?" Looking at Tesu's excited and spirited face, he silently compares. He's exactly like Baekhyun. Taehyun suddenly bows his head and shouts loudly, surprising Kangu a bit, "I also want to thank you. I know right now I'm just a Dax shadow, but I will definitely find a way to repay you." Kangu watches him do that. He can only chuckle, being a Dax shadow. Kangu recalls their earlier conversation. "It means those thieves should shut up and wrap themselves in bandages. Those thieves are notorious for being bad at dealing damage and tanking. This term was created because they wouldn't let us join other teams." He thinks, so that's what it means. A large hand quickly catches Taehyun. Taesu speaks up, "This is our destiny." He laughs loudly and pats the shoulder of the person next to him. "If you want to repay him, why don't we form a team now?" Kangu stands there helplessly watching the two of them, silently marveling, "For the sake of AI, huh?" Taehyun is so moved that tears well up. He clenches his fists. "I'm really grateful, but right now I can't do anything. I've been defeated and become the biggest burden for Taesu." Tesu presses his lips slightly and looks to the side. Hearing him speak, Taehyun shouts with determination, "I want to become stronger, so I can support both of you. See you again." Tesu laughs loudly, pats his shoulder, and praises his attitude. "That's true chivalry. Your courage and willingness to train more to repay others is truly admirable." Ms. Kangu stands opposite, looking at the two of them with a strange expression, helplessly thinking, "Are these guys out of their minds?" Taehyun bows again. "Well, I will be going now." The two beside him wave off politely. "So be it." He stands there thinking silently, "At least someone owes me now." He looks over at Tesu, who's talking with Taehyun. "Take care," he thinks. But now the question is, what should I do with this bastard? Kangu suddenly speaks Uncle Tesu. Hearing his voice, Tesu quickly replies, "Yes, Kangu." He continues, asking, "What level are you?" Tesu answers, "I'm level 12. I just had my second awakening not long ago." "So you're asking again, what rank was your initial skill?" Tesu excitedly said, "My special ability was rank C during my first awakening. So I leveled up by hunting." Kangu, with a curious look, asked, "So what rank is your special ability for the second awakening?" Tesu put his hands on his hips proudly. "My special ability for the second awakening is rank A." Standing there, he silently thought to himself, "This guy has more potential than I thought." Kangu probed again. "Then why don't you join a guild? You can join any guild you like." Tesu closed his eyes and explained, "I was quite unsure which guild to join." But suddenly I don't need to join a guild anymore. Kang Yu was quite surprised by his answer. Tesu clenched his fists determinedly. I'm a real man. Has Kang Tesu decided to follow you, Kanggu? Then he laughed loudly. Kang Yu stood there watching him, thinking good. He imagined Tesu's growth. Players who reach a high rank in their second awakening tend to have stronger abilities in the third and fourth awakenings. He smiled gently, thinking of Koa. He remembered Shella also awakened a second time early on. Then he said, all right, from now on I'll recruit you. This made Tesu excitedly shout, thanks, Kanggu. He pulled out his phone, then give me your contact info. If you need help, I'll come right away. While exchanging contact info, he added, all right, actually, I also have a favor to ask. Tesu's eyes suddenly lit up. Just say it, Kanggu. Kang Yu, slightly annoyed, move aside. You're tiring me out. After exchanging contacts, he handed the phone back to Tesu and instructed, in the next few days, my acquaintance will finish basic training. I want you to form a team with that person and level up together. The two continued talking. Can I know that person's class? Kang Yu, she's a healer. Tesu happily said, then I'm glad to join with her. Damage dealers are quite common, so I'll try to create a really strong team. Kang Yu was satisfied. Good, I'll contact you later. Tesu asked again, so now you're going to the Andres Guild. He looked a bit gloomy, staring into the distance. Meanwhile, John Ho was struggling, being beaten. He was slammed against a tree, groaning in pain, awake now. A familiar voice sounded. Kang Yu pressed Chon Ho's neck against the tree root threateningly. I have something to ask you. You better not lie. If you understand, just nod. Good. He patted him on the shoulder after seeing him nod. Kang Yu asked again, what's your name? He quickly replied, I'm Kang Chun Ho. Kang Yu was pleased. Good, Chun Ho. Not long ago you said you needed to capture players alive and bring them back, right? He timidly spoke more quietly. I don't remember. Kang Yu immediately kicked Chun Ho in the head, causing him to scream in pain. He grabbed John Ho's head and pulled him up. So what now? Remember now, he fearfully answered, the reason we captured them alive was to offer them as sacrifices. Kang Yu's tone was cold sacrifices, which made John Ho suddenly shiver. His eyes reddened as he looked at him. Kang Yu shoved him aside, thinking there are more crazy people than he thought. He recalled that bastard Taehyun said the same thing. He gave a faint smile. Kang Yu gripped Chun Ho's jaw tightly. His eyes reddened, his face showing a sinister expression. Chun Ho, I have a favor to ask. A miserable figure dragged a suitcase through a narrow alley. He stopped. A voice called out, are you Lang John Ho? He clenched the suitcase and replied, that's me. The person opposite shone a flashlight directly at John Ho and asked, you and Taeho went hunting? Sacrifices together, right? Seeing his bruised face, the other person asked repeatedly, in surprise, then why have you guys been gone so long? What's going on? You got a SAO? Didn't you just go to a D-rank gate to hunt sacrifices? Where's Taeho from the sale? Ew. John Ho stammered, Taeho is dead. The person opposite looked confused. What? He hurriedly handed the suitcase directly to that person. You just take this sacrificial item and leave. The other guy asked suspiciously, Taeho died in a level D dungeon. You really think I'll believe that? John Ho trembled as he held out the suitcase. It's true, that's how it happened. The person opposite still didn't let it go. How exactly is that supposed to be? What do you mean by that? Then he reached out to take the suitcase. Among them was a high-level player. John Ho dared not look straight, stammering, that's how it is. Yes, thanks to Taeho, I was barely able to take down that bastard. I even brought that bastard here as a sacrifice. The white-haired man sat down and inspected the body inside, carefully still breathing, then tapped Kang Yu's face. The condition isn't that bad. Then he shined a light on Chun Ho's face, but you're a bit strange. He covered his face, voice a bit uneasy. I since Taeho died. My emotions have been a bit complicated. John Ho quickly stepped back to let the other person examine him. Complicated my ass. The fewer people, the better. The white-haired man stood up, holding the suitcase. Because you delivered the sacrifice to us, you will receive the divine grace. And because Taeho is dead, all the magic power goes to you. Oh my God, so this time you didn't use even a bit of that power. He spoke to John Ho with a sarcastic tone. The guy opposite exclaimed, is this bastard Kang Chen Ho the one who killed Taeho himself? Maybe he just wanted to claim all the good stuff. John Ho angrily turned and silently walked away. Holding the sacrificial item, do whatever you want with it. I'm leaving. The white-haired man called after him, confused. Where are you going now? He looked at John Ho's struggling figure, quite puzzled. What's wrong with that bastard? It's unclear if he's really upset because Taeho died. He didn't notice that John Ho's face was pale and sweaty. Seems like he's even more emotional than expected. Inside the scene, one of the people pulled the suitcase inside. The subordinate of the guild leader started to speak but was interrupted by the leader. "You're late." The subordinate respectfully replied yes and continued reporting. Those guys said they were stopped by a high-level player. Teho also died in the battle. The guild leader spoke again. "What about the sacrifice below?" and pushed the suitcase forward. The guild leader above ordered, "Bring it over here quickly. I don't have much time left." The subordinate below opened the suitcase respectfully. "Yes, sir." Everyone's voices rose in unison when they saw the guild leader carry Kang Yu onto the altar, the immortal and eternal Andros. The blessing of the great Andros. The power of the great Andros. The guild leader thought everything was going according to plan. Voices echoed around, "O Supreme One, please grant your servants your marvelous power." The guild leader leaned on his cane, opening his robe, thinking, "It's been almost a year since I transformed. My followers have been steadily increasing. Any player would naturally crave great power, and I can satisfy their hunger with magic power." The guild leader laughed happily and removed his mask. "Now let's begin the ritual." Dio Hyun ordered his subordinates to prepare the magic stones. The subordinates all responded in unison. The voices grew louder together. "Great Andros." Dio Hyun flipped open a box filled with sparkling stones, his mind full of desire, craving this power. He looked at Kang Yu lying there, full of satisfaction. "The more they desire, the more my body, my heart, and this power will become corrupted. At this rate, I'll become a true demon." Dio Hyun laughed joyfully. "Who's next to receive the blessing today?" A subordinate kneeling beside him suddenly spoke up. Initially, it was supposed to be Kang Chun-ho, but he refused to participate in today's ritual. Dio Hyun was a bit confused. "Is that so? Looks like no one will receive the blessing today." He spoke, causing the people below to be awkward. "What, then what now?" The angry voice of the guild leader cut off the chatter. "Silence." Dio Hyun said in a low voice, "If you want to receive the blessing, bring the sacrifice and magic stones here. Those who don't work hard don't deserve the blessing." The subordinates shrank back, bowed respectfully, and all replied in unison, "Yes, sir." The guild leader continued, "Besides lacking my guidance, you won't even get the chance to be blessed. If that's the case, these unclaimed sacrificial items will belong to me." Dio Hyun shouted excitedly, "Begin the ritual." The atmosphere immediately intensified. "Yes, sir." He slammed his staff into the ground, shattering a stone and unleashing a surge of power. A red circle appeared beneath the altar. Dio Hyun looked at the power stream happily. "With these, my magic stones will be able to grant blessings several more times." "Good, very good. This means I'll grow stronger by absorbing the magic energy pouring out from this crack." A grand scene unfolded, streams of power tearing through space to form a long crack. Dio Hyun's face was full of excitement, the immense power of magic energy. "I really want to absorb it right away, but absorbing like this is too dangerous. If I absorb it directly without mediation, there's only one outcome, death." But when this guy touched Kang Yu, veins bulged on his skin. "If I let these sacrificial items absorb magic energy until they die, then absorb the blood of those corpses, I can absorb pure magic energy. Like this." Dio Hyun controlled the power within him to sacrifice the person lying there. "May the magic energy engulf you. May it take your life." He looked at Kang Yu in silent amazement, wondering how he could endure awakening powers of rank A or something like that. Dio Hyun laughed more gleefully. "The longer they last, the more magic energy I can absorb like this. Feels like 5 by 0, 10 by 15 times. This bastard is truly an unimaginably strong sacrificial item, and the amount of magic energy he's absorbing is already huge. I will keep absorbing more and more each day." Dio Hyun laughed loudly at the sight, opening his eyes and screaming pitifully. He started counting in his head, 17 by 2, 10x3, 10x45, 10. Dio Hyun felt something was wrong. Why is it increasing non-stop like this? Dio Hyun began to panic and step back. "Customer, wait a moment." "Stop, stop. I said stop already. Please, please, stop." His actions made everyone below start to panic. Dio Chun shouted loudly with a frightened face, "Stop the power!" At this point, his energy started to fade, and he collapsed to the ground, face pale. Dio Chun trembled, clawing at the ground continuously. No, it's impossible." Kang Yu then sat up full of amazement, his stats suddenly rising by 20 points. Dio Hyun looked as if he couldn't believe his eyes. "What the hell?" he exclaimed. How did Kang Yu smile so lightly? "What kind of ritual was that? Can you do it again for me?" He smiled brighter and pointed to his lips just one more time. Dio Hyun sat there trembling. No. The screams grew more grating, making everyone even more anxious. He quickly gathered power and charged at him. That bastard Kang Yu gently dodged to the side. The two began one attacking while the other dodged, creating a chaotic scene. He looked at Do Kyungun provocatively, not bad. The guild leader angrily rushed forward with all his strength to attack Kang Yu. A loud collision sound erupted. Do Kyungun focused his power on one spot, repeated the action again, then a large fireball attacked that spot. He was very surprised to see Kang Yu in a different form shrouded in magic energy. Kang Yu shifted to his powerful iron shield form. He sneered, magic energy really is convenient. The guild leader angrily shouted orders to his subordinates. What are you standing there for? Attack him already. Then everyone below started charging forward. Kang Yu began wrapping in his body with power, forming a blade in his hand, then struck hard at the opponent. Everyone who charged forward started falling after being hit by Kang Yu. He dashed through them, hitting each one so hard they collapsed in pain. A voice rang out, "Get out of the way, you trash." Everyone around began to see an opportunity when they saw guild leader Dio Kyun. If it's guild leader Dio Kyun, this guy began activating his power, his smile growing wider. Look here, fire that can destroy the very essence of life itself. Hellfire power condensed into a large fireball. Kang Yu stood there dazed for a moment, then covered his mouth and turned away laughing, making Dio Hyun even angrier. Even though I don't know how you can use magic, you're nowhere near beating my fists. Before he could finish, Kang Yu had already gathered a larger fireball. Dio Hyun's eyes widened as he stared at the fireball. How is that even possible? Dio Hyun trembled, his eyes rolling back, stammering, "What is that thing? This is really absurd." He stepped back a few steps and fear showed in Dio Hyun's eyes. He saw Kang Yu's chilling smile and thought that imagining such a thing existing was truly absurd. Looks like he can't be defeated. Dio Hyun trembled and slowly extinguished the fireball in his hand. He knelt before Kang Yu's imposing presence. Kang Yu spoke. "Why are you making a scene out of nowhere?" Dio Hyun suddenly shouted, "I am the great Andros incarnate." Kang Yu was a bit surprised, only uttering, "Huh." The man clasped his hands and bowed. "I have waited long and hard for your presence. You are the king of us gods, the Gom and the embodiment of salvation, the renowned king who will rule this whole realm." Looking up excitedly, "What are you all doing? Hurry up and pay your respects." Kang Yu pretended as if he had been endowed with the power of the heavens. He wondered to himself, should I play along? Dio Hyun excitedly looked up. Kang Yu laughed loudly. "Finally you realize this is me. I am the great Andros you mentioned, the king of fire, lord of hell, and ruler of all demons." Dio Hyun bowed his head, even lower, ruler of all demons. I humbly greet the great king of fire. Kang Yu laughed heartily. "That's right, tell your minions to scram. I want to talk to you alone." The two began their conversation. Kang Yu asked, "What's your name?" Chodio Kyun replied, "I am Chodio Kyun." He continued, "All right, Chodio Kyun, let me ask you a few things." The man stammered, "Yes, please go ahead." Then suddenly braver than the great demon Andros himself, Kang Yu showed some frustration. "Hey, cut it out. You already know I'm not Andros." Dio Kyun looked up and asked, "Then who are you?" He angrily grabbed the man's collar. "Shut up." Kang Yu stared at the man opposite him. "I don't want to hear a single question. You are only allowed to answer what I ask." Understand, causing the man to nervously say yes. He lowered his voice threateningly. "How could you possibly do these things? How did you learn to create cracks using magic from magical stones?" Dio Hyun's hands and feet trembled as he answered, "I learned how to create cracks." After hearing the preaching, Kang Yu wondered. Preaching here. Sweat poured down like a stream. That's right, one day a man wearing a demon mask approached me and said I could achieve eternal life if I followed the demon cult. Damn it, how could you agree to a stranger's words without knowing what it was? The man lay on the ground explaining it's because he was too strong. He said that in the blink of an eye he overwhelmed my guild and told us to choose between obeying him or dying. We had no other choice but to accept the preaching and follow his orders. Kang Yu continued probing. "So where is that bastard with a mask now?" Dio Hyun quickly shook his head. "I really don't know anything. Since that day I haven't seen him. We receive orders through cats." Kang Yu poked the man with his weapon. "But why did you recklessly follow those orders?" Dio Hyun shyly bowed his head. "It's because he was too strong." He sighed inwardly. Clearly they were forced from the start. But under the sweet temptation of demonic power, he began those rituals early on by himself. Who else could that be? The demon cult doesn't seem to be officially recognized, but those bastards know how to drive people crazy. They can't be underestimated. Kang Yu ordered, "Give me the letters containing the orders." Dio Kyun quickly replied yes, then handed over the letter. Kang Yu was a bit curious. Is there only one? This guy was trembling, his face showing submission. That's right, he nodded. Is that so? Kang Yu began to open the letter to read, accepting demon powers and becoming a demon, recruiting as many players as possible. At this moment, his neck veins bulged. Kangyu spoke up. Dio-kyun, are you the only one being lectured? The guy opposite glanced around and replied, I'm not sure. I haven't met anyone else yet. He pushed himself up with his hands. Is that so? Then think about it. This bastard can't be alone. Unless they're idiots, they wouldn't carry out this plan and put their trust only in Dio-kyun, especially since this is their plan to increase their forces. He grabbed Dio-kyun by the collar, his tone full of anger. These bastards dare to turn this place into hell. I'll tell you 3 things. Listen carefully. First, investigate the demon cult. Second, never perform those rituals again. Dio-kyun, his collar tightly gripped, cried out, yes, yes, sir. He continued. Third, keep everything that happened between us a secret. Remember that? Kangyu spoke slowly, making Dio-kyun increasingly scared. Yes, 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 I understand. Then he kicked the guy out. Now get lost. He began to think, even if I stop these acts from happening again, the mess caused by the Andros Guild is already exhausting enough. This isn't the first or second time they have used these guys as sacrifices. The government forces are paying more attention now. They'll catch me as soon as I start investigating the cult's actions, but it's worth looking into these guys. I've used the power of fear so no information can leak out. As soon as they achieve their goal, I will retreat. He sighed. Today was tougher than I thought. Then sighed again. Time to rest now. At this time, Kangyu had returned home happily saying, Sola, I'm back. A surprised voice rang out Kakongu. He was a bit surprised. What's up? You should be the one worried, Koa said as she approached. You went through that gate ages ago and didn't contact me at all. You didn't even answer your phone. Oh my God. Kangyu took out his phone and looked. Oh my God, he scratched his head. I'm sorry. Something unexpected happened, but I'm fine. Koa sighed in relief. I was really worried you'd get into trouble. Kangyu looked at her gently. Thanks for worrying about me. I'll definitely contact you next time. Koa blushed a bit. I'll wait here, okay? Then she turned to the kitchen. Now that you're home, I have to make dinner. Kangyu, do you want to eat? He looked eager. Of course, kimchi soup. She smiled happily. I knew you'd want kimchi soup. I'm already simmering kimchi with meat. This made Kangyu even more excited. He clasped his hands and laughed loudly. You cook me a delicious meal every night, thanks so much. Ko replied modestly, it's nothing. During today's hunt, I awakened my 2nd time already. It's time I should repay you. Kangyu was a bit surprised by this, You've awakened a 2nd time? Koa laughed nervously. Listen, I'm proud to be B rank now. I gained a special ability called the Blessing of Light with this 2nd awakening. He clapped along with her, quietly happy inside. At this rate, if we team up with Tisu, we'll be great. 4 healers with high-level special abilities in Wong. If these 2 combine, we'll definitely be stronger than many other teams. Kangyu sat down and asked, Sola, has any guild invited you yet? Koa turned away, smiling quietly. Many. He continued. Then which guild do you plan to join? She lowered her head shyly. Actually, I don't intend to join any guild. Instead, I want to help you, Kangyu. Kangyu sat in his chair, thinking to himself, she really is an angel. But he said, though you've awakened a high-level special ability, Shella, I don't think you should join me. This made Koa pause. Kangyu continued explaining more clearly. Right now, you won't be able to help me much, Shella. She was a bit hurt, lowering her face, I understand.